Yo, fans, sport fans, what's up? Welcome to Neon Football Talk. It's a very special day, very great video. I'm excited. Got my hair down, got a smile on. I got my first special guest ever, my boy, my homie. He got me through my first camp of college football ever. That joint was crazy. My man, Zack Wilson. My man, Zeke.
What's good, bro?
What's up? How you doing? Thank you so much for joining joining my channel. I appreciate it.
No problem. I've been waiting to talk about football with someone who understands.
Absolutely. As you know, we got a really great offseason coming up, 2021. We got I'm excited. My Dolphins, they went from, they had a good turnaround. They had a great offseason last year. I'm looking for them to have a repeat this offseason. We got a lot of draft picks. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of ammunition. We got some cap room. So but we're not just here to talk about the Dolphins because, my man likes the Eagles. So we'll bring him in there. But we're going to talk about some free agents. We're going to do a first-round mock draft. We're going to just have some football talk for you. Feel me? All right. So,
Yes, sir.
The number one free agent on the list. And this is like we kind of forgot about him with all this QB controversy with Deshaun Watson and Matt Stafford and Drew Brees retiring. And god dang, old man Brady winning another ring and throwing the trophy in the water. Dak Prescott, he's a free agent. We forgot. Yes, we did. You think Dak Prescott, you think the Cowboys are going to finally give that man some money?
They should pay the man some money, and that's coming from a division rival right there. Like, the dude was balling out before he got hurt. It was unfortunate that he injured himself the way he did, but the dude was putting up pretty good numbers, and that's coming from an Eagles fan. I'll say he was a top 10 quarterback, which is crazy to say, but the dude was efficient. It's just hard because the man doesn't really want – he wants the money. He doesn't really want to be franchise tagged, but I think the only way he's getting money is that way. And he wants a big contract. He wants a 4-year, 150+ million guaranteed over 4 years with incentives and everything, and a guaranteed, probably a $75 million guaranteed signing, which is, I'm not going to say that's insane after, what was it? What did Mahomes get? $500 million over, 10 years or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Something crazy. Yeah, he's stuck for 12 years. Yeah, Mahomes is stuck. I hope the Chiefs don't have no Super Bowl drought.
It's clear. And, Jerry Jones, he wants to win a Super Bowl. It's been 20-some years since the mid-'90s since they won one. And Dak seems to be the guy for that. It just depends. They have the talent around him. You got Amari Cooper. You got CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup. Elliott has kind of hit his plateau, but it's the NFL. We've seen players that you don't think are going to pop off end up popping off.
Absolutely. Look at this.
Elliott could come back to.
And I know, Dallas, and this is why I kind of feel bad for Dak Prescott because I believe he's a great quarterback, and I'd bring him to Miami. I would. Now, not for no 2 first round. Not the same thing with Watson. I don't care how good you are. I'm not going to give up the whole boat. But I do like Dak Prescott, and this is what people fail to realize about him. As he came in from Mississippi State as a fourth round pick in 2016 draft, right? He wasn't expected to start over Romo. Romo banged up his knee. What happened? Romo got injured. Dak Prescott came in there, and he played great. He played better than the projected rookie of the year and his teammate, Ezekiel Elliott. He played better than Zeke. Way better. They argue he was the AP Offensive Rookie of the Year. And the person, probably the runner-up, was on his team, taking the ball handoff from him. You know what I mean? And in his rookie year, he had a 67.8 completion percentage, 3,667 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. 4 interceptions as a rookie. 4. Come on. You know what I mean? So they do have to pay him. Hey, he's 27 years old, and if they keep franchise tagging him, I don't see them doing that because eventually that's going to hurt Dallas because that's a big cap space. They need to throw him the money. They need to stop being greedy. Yep. And maybe he might have to. Maybe he might have a big head. I really don't have his contract details pulled up, but they need to give him some money because he's definitely worth it. I mean, his season, it's like before he got hurt in 2020, in 2020, before he got hurt, he already had 1,800 yards and 9 touchdowns for 4 interceptions. And in 2019, he had 30 touchdowns with 11 interceptions. So that was his best touchdown year in 2019. And that's when I think that's the year they added Amari Cooper and started to add some weapons to him. So, I think that Dallas needs to pay him because this is their closest chance to get in another ring, this man right here. And that's the truth. And maybe that's why people like to diss him.
And then the other thing I look at is the only factor of what I could see is Dak's 28, which we're seeing Tom Brady. The dude is 43, still playing at an elite level, arguably the best quarterback. He's not even running around like Dak, so you can consider the injury thing. And the other thing, and I know you'll agree on this, look at the mess right now. Quarterbacks we never thought were leaving. The whole Watson thing, paid him a bunch of money. Now he wants out. Signed Wentz to a crazy deal. Now he's trade rumors are going around to where he's going to go, even though I think we should keep him because, I mean, it's going to hurt you paying him that money and just let him go anyway. And then you got to look at – you just saw last week, Russell Wilson, arguably probably the most fluent and I'm going to say non-dumb quarterback when it comes to talking in the media about anything, especially team-related like that, unless it's positive things. And you could correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure he won Walter Payton Man of the Year this year.
Yeah.
For him to come out a month after they lose to the Rams, which I never would have thought, comes out and basically says, oh, that's up to them if they're willing to trade me. Russell Wilson, last year I would have said would have retired Hall of Famer for the Seahawks, no ifs, ands, or buts. But I also said Brady would never leave New England. So I think you got to look. You see all these big-name quarterbacks getting paid. Is that being the reason Jerry Jones doesn't want to give him the money? Dak's getting up there in age, but he's not in his 30s. It's not like the dude's going to be done playing in 2 years. So are they worried that he could get injured? And now what I think that the Cowboys have in their back pocket is how is he going to come back from this leg injury? Is it going to be the same Dak or is it going to be like Carson Wentz? Played phenomenal in his MVP season the year they won the Super Bowl, even though he ended up being a backup. Carson Wentz isn't the Carson Wentz he was back then because of his leg. So maybe that's the Cowboys smoking gun now with the franchise tag. Be like, listen, Dak, we're going to give you some money. We're not going to give you what you want with your long-term $160 million that you think you get because we don't know if you're going to be able to perform. So I think that's going to be interesting to see if they're willing to take on his injury because the dude was producing before that. If the injury wasn't before that, I'd say screw the franchise tag, give the man the money he wants, and that's your best chance, like you said, to get a ring. But now that he got injured, we don't know if he's going to be able to be the Dak that he's been. So I think that's what's going to save the Cowboys with signing the long-term versus the franchises. They're going to be like, well, we can't give you that because we don't know if you're going to be able to play up to the standard and the way you've been performing.
Absolutely. You made up a really good point, especially about that, especially with the injury, especially how he's going to come back, because that's something that the Cowboys really have to take into account. And you made a really good point. Like they franchise tagged him, which I'm sure is pretty rough for a QB to franchise a QB, especially with Mahomes' contract and D. Watt. So you're taking an average from that. You're going to be paying that man a lot of money for 1 year, and you paid him a lot of money to play, 9 games, 6 couple games. You know what I mean? So that's where the Cowboys have to think about it. Like, do we let him go? Because do we let him? Is his injury? Can he come back? Like the injury is so big because they have a couple ways they have to come at. Do we just let Dak walk and test free agency because he got injured? You know what I'm saying? Or do we sign a deal with him because we want Dak, and that's our QB. We believe he's our franchise, and we want to get him in. You know what I'm saying? Because right now they do another franchise tag, it's going to be $37.7 million. That's a lot of money on the cap. You know what I mean? So you might as well just pay him. You might as well just pay him or let him walk.
Yep.
Because
you pay him, you can save yourself. Yeah.
And if injuries, if the Cowboys injury is the reason because they're worried about his injury, if that's the reason they would want to franchise tag him again, which I doubt that'd be a reason because I'd be really foolish. Because if you believe he's injury prone, why would you franchise tag him? Because you're risking $37.7 million on the line right there. Because if you don't think he's going to play next season, why would you franchise? It's like signing a 1-year deal for $37.7 million. That don't make no sense. You might as well just pay him. Because if they do make a contract, just like with Deshaun Watson and we see with other players' contracts, they could sit there and fingle and fandangle it in case he were to be injured. I just like Deshaun Watson contract. remember my video, like their signing bonus, they paid them out, but it's prorated on the cap. That's like I've been telling you, Houston's not going to trade them. Like trading Deshaun Watson's going to put like it makes their team worse than it already is. Number one. Two, you're going to lose fans because you got rid of J.J. Watt. You got rid of Deshaun Watson. So who in Houston is going to want to come watch with the COVID still going on in 2021 to come see the Texans? Yep. You know what I'm saying? People they don't realize that. People will come and watch him sit out the game because people like that. But they're not going to watch him if he's not there. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about that. So, and then you have all that, and then you're talking about the contract issues. Even like the best thing for the Texans would be if someone gave them a boatload of picks, but no one's going to do that. That's why they're asking for that, because it's more of like it's a bluff. You know what I mean? And they might break on draft night. I don't see them breaking. They shouldn't break. They should just keep him because, like I said, he may change his mind again. He changed his mind. In a couple months. He might. How they won't draft the next D Hop? You know what I mean? You don't know. Yep. So that's the big thing. How about the homie Chris Godwin? He just got a Super Bowl championship. He had to switch his number 12 to 14 for the bad man Brady. You think he might take a pay cut to stay with Tampa Bay? Brady nears?
So this is how I look at it. There's a couple factors in this. Like you just said, he got the ring. And it was funny. I was reading the other day when he gave Brady the number 12, Brady looked him in the eye and said, "Don't worry, I'm going to win a Super Bowl in his jersey." And he went out and did it. So that's one thing. So I think the number one factor to me of him staying is a mixture of the people around him. One, you're playing with the greatest quarterback of all time. I'm going to come out and say it. The man has more Super Bowls by himself than any other team has. Now, you can argue the era thing, and this is a little off topic. It's like the whole debate of like MJ, Kobe, and LeBron. MJ, greatest player in the 90s. Kobe, best in the thousands. As of right now, like the last decade, LeBron, leave it at that. Could argue Brady and Montana, the Tuck rule and all that shit, but it's a completely different conversation. So you have that factor. Two, you have your exactly 7. Two, you have Mike Evans open with Bruce Arians openly saying that he said, "Take money out of my contract. I want to keep this team together." So you're getting that team factor right there. So that's another thing. The third one is, I saw a crazy rumor, and this one's way out in left field because you know how social media is. You got all those burner pages of, "Oh, this person just signed there," and they got the fake verified signs and stuff. I don't remember if it was a burner page, but I think it was a decently reliable of, and this is definitely a stretch to me, of them looking to go get Odell. And I'm like, okay, this is not franchise mode in Madden. You're not going to have Mike Evans and Ronald Jones and Tom Brady and Gronk and Odell on the same team. That's like a mutt team that you make by playing the challenges and stuff. So I think that's a long-term thing. I think since Godwin's young, I think the deciding factor in this is, can he go somewhere and be that guy, be the solid number 1? Because right now, Mike Evans is their number 1. He's their threat.
Yeah.
So does he want to go somewhere and be the number 1? Does he want the money? Can Tampa afford to keep their defense the way it is with everybody in that whole free agency deal and contracts coming up and stuff like that? Does he want to go be the number 1 somewhere and get paid? Or does he take a shorter deal, say like 2 or 3 years if he can finagle that with his agent and stay in Tampa till Brady leaves, not knowing who the next quarterback will be there? Or does he just take whatever they offer him and stays there with the opportunity? Because let's be realistic. Brady's at least getting them to the playoffs, at least. And you never bet against Brady in the playoffs unless you're playing the Eagles or the Giants. Sorry, had to throw that one in there. So does he stay and just play with, I'd say, a 95% guaranteed chance he's at least going to the playoff? And then it's 50-50 if they go to the Super Bowl, and probably even a little bit higher that they win another one. So I think it comes down to, you're playing with the best quarterback. Do you want to be the number 1 or do you want to win a Super Bowl? So I think it's going to boil down to a couple different things. And then also it comes down to, are the Bucs going to want to keep their defense solid and re-sign bigger contracts there? Or are they going to have that team factor where everybody's like, all right, I'll play for a little less money to keep this team together? So I think this is actually going to be a little more interesting than the Dak thing, because that's one player. You're talking about keeping a whole team together that just literally stopped Mahomes for his first time ever in high school, college, or the NFL from scoring a touchdown. So there's a lot of different factors there. I think it boils down to, do I want to win a Super Bowl with Brady, or do I want to be the number one guy? Let's just shoot a random team out there like the Ravens because they need a number one. Does he want to go there and be the number one and get paid? So I think
Miami.
they're the two biggest things I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. I see Chris Godwin. Like you said, you're definitely right with Mike Evans being their number one. He's their go-to man. But Chris Godwin is their workhorse. That man he's very important to that offense. He really is. He cuts to the middle. He's strong. You know what I mean? He's opening plays. You know, he could take a slant. He could do a lot. You know, and he was due for a contract extension in 2019. But of course, you know, as we know, the Tampa Bay Brady Nears made that push for Brady, which, you know, worked out for them. So, you know, unfortunately for Godwin, his contract got pushed back and his number got switched. But that's okay. He got a ring, and I'm sure he's okay with that. Now, I see here, you know, they're saying that, you know, the Bucs may franchise tag him, which we could see that happening. I don't really see that being the case. Like you said, you know, they're coming off good vibes. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to be there, you know what I mean? And like they, you know, if he's not, if it comes to the point where he's not with another team, if he's not interested in another team, you know, and another team's going to probably have to throw him some money. You know, and there's a couple teams that I can see him, like you said, Baltimore might be one of them, Miami. I mean, I really don't see Miami throwing out so much money for a guy at his size, you know.
Yeah.
But I think
Not
that'd
to
be
cut
a
you
good
off,
pickup.
yeah,
But then,
where I see them throwing money, it's actually the next free agent we'll talk about. And I think I don't want to say he's a better fit, but I could see like a decent deal depending on which we'll get into in the draft. If the Dolphins take Penei Sewell at 3, I could definitely see them being in the market to get Allen Robinson. So I see Robinson going more to Miami than I
yeah, I
do the
like
Bucks
Robinson more. He's physical.
because I think it, as we know with the whole Carson Wentz thing, talking to the Bears and stuff, I just think depending on that and what comes out of that, Allen Robinson is going to want out of Chicago more than Chris Godwin's going to want out of Tampa. So I think
Absolutely.
the Dolphins would be more in the market for Allen Robinson because I think you can get him for cheaper because he's a little bit older. I'm not saying Allen Robinson is like terrible or anything like
No, he's
that.
a
It's
beast.
just he's productive. He's productive, and Godwin's going to want to stay with the Bucks, and
It's
you're
the
going to get
situation.
just
You're
based
absolutely
on the
right.
money aspect. Like I'm looking here on PFF, the Bucks franchise tag him, whatever. If they don't sign him 5 years, 110 million. All right, then you go down. You can get Robinson for 4 years for 84 million. So you can save yourself. What is that difference right there? 25 million. That could be the difference in you guys maybe getting another steal in the draft or picking up. Who knows? We could go down the list and say like somebody like maybe Levante David wants out, and that could be an addition. I don't see him going there. I see him getting re-signed. You could go offensive line to protect Tua. Like I
Yeah.
just see Robinson money-wise being a better fit for Miami.
Absolutely. And I definitely see Robinson being a better fit for Miami, like you said. Number one, let's just Miami's, I think they're going to be more prone naturally to go after Robinson than they would to go after Chris Godwin. And just like you said, the situation, Chris Godwin's just coming off a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And not only is he coming off the Super Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
the man just playing with Tom Brady. You know what I mean? And he just left Jameis Winston, who we won't say is terrible, but he ain't no Tom Brady. Let's put it that way. And we could all agree. We could all
No.
agree. We could all agree there. He ain't no Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? So now Tua, I love Tua, but he ain't no Jameis Winston. He ain't do what Jameis Winston did in the NFL. He ain't have a season like Jameis Winston. I love Tua. He has potential. But so Chris Godwin, you know, you really think about that. The Dolphins, number one, they're gonna have to throw you some money. So the number one, you're gonna have to throw him some money to even get him to start thinking. You know what I mean? When you throw Allen Robinson some money, right now, Allen Robinson is already intrigued. He's in cold Chicago. He has to pay taxes in Illinois. You don't pay no
Yep.
income taxes in Florida. Miami's beautiful. You know what I mean? I personally trust Tua. Tua has more potential. I'm not saying he's better, but he has more potential than both Nick
Mm-hmm.
Foles and Mitchell Trubisky. So And you look at the
Yep. And then the
Dolphins,
other thing I'm looking at is
they're good.
go
So
ahead.
Allen Robinson, I think
Mhm.
like you said, that you make a really good point. I think Chris Godwin is probably going to take a pay cut, work out a deal to sit there in Tampa Bay with Brady, which is understandable, and I really don't blame him. And I personally would rather Allen Robinson too. I'm not saying that I think I'm not going to go in who I think is better, but I do like Allen Robinson. I liked him in Jacksonville. I really liked him in
Yeah.
Jacksonville, and he was balling in Chicago. I mean, he was balling in Chicago with two QBs, and that's pretty tough.
hmm
And I can also see some
And then the other thing to look at is as we're talking about this, because you guys have what, the 3rd and 18th pick, right?
yeah. Yep, 3rd and 18,
So
and then
you
like
sign,
some
say you
seconds.
hypothetically get, so say you were to get Godwin, like I said earlier, that's an extra $25 million. Okay. Let's be realistic. You're going to get 2 studs in this first round draft. So you take Allen Robinson for the $85 million, if that's what you guys give him, opposed to the 5-year $110 to Godwin. That $25 million right there will cover the 2 rookies you draft in the first round. That'll cover their contract, because we've seen, like you said, going back to Dak, the dude was balling out, but he's on a rookie contract, and we know they don't take big risks. Very rarely do we see, besides maybe someone like Saquon, where your rookie deal, or like a Joe Burrow, that you're guaranteed, I don't want to say insane, like a $60 million. If you get, let's say, like a lineman and a running back, you can stretch that $25 million that you would have wasted. I don't want to say wasted, but would have spent on Godwin to take Allen. You can make that $25 million work for your 2 rookies at
Mm-hmm.
a decent price. Like, you'll meet your standard contract for a rookie, the 4 or 5 years with the 5th year option. You can use that money right there.
And
So
then
you got
there's
to think
other
about that too.
receivers
You're
too
getting 2
who
studs.
are older. You know what I mean? Like Chris
Yep.
Godwin, like especially for Miami circumstance, like with Chris Godwin, he's he's attractive, right? But there's other dudes, like there's dudes like AB. Now AB might do the same thing. He might take a pay cut to stay with Brady, but AB also proved himself. So people know he could play. People know he could sit there. He's in tune. He could focus. You know what I mean? AB's I really don't see like the coaching staff in Miami, how tight they are, and like they're kind of like strict. I don't really see AB. Like I don't really see them taking a risk on AB. But you got guys like T.Y. Hilton, older vets that you could come and bring down there, and other teams. So there's like like Allen Robinson, Kenny Galladay, and Chris Godwin. Like they're attractive. But like I think Allen Robinson is the one attractive receiver that I really see Miami going after. And actually, per PFF, their prediction is the Dolphins signing Robinson for a 4-year, $84 million deal, which ain't bad.
Yep.
$52 million totally guaranteed, $35 million, at signing. That's not bad. You know what I mean? And that's a great number one. He and he's gonna fit well with Devontae Parker. And that's another thing too. Like, I'm going off topic, because I'm going. But with Miami, like I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. I want us to be good. And you like just like you're saying with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, like they're saying they're gonna bring all these people. That doesn't always do you good. You have all those superstars. They all want to touch that ball. They all want to. They're superstars, so they all want to be in the spotlight. No, I'm not saying that always happens because we've seen it. It worked. Chris Godwin is a superstar. Antonio Brown is a superstar, and Mike Evans is a superstar. They all would be number 1 receivers on any team.
Yeah, it works in Tampa. But look
Right,
at Cleveland. They
right.
brought Odell in, and Jarvis Landry was still more productive.
And then when did they finally start finding success? When Odell Beckham went down. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
And then you got to consider, like I was looking, we got Marquise Goodwin with the Eagles. He's getting released probably. I don't think he's coming back. D-Jack you can get pretty cheap. So there's even other pieces. If you can't get the stud, like mid-range people, like mid-20s to early 30s, like the Galladays, the Robinson, shit. D-Jack still got it. So like that's another option I could see. He'll play anywhere at this point, which he'd
absolutely.
be a fit there. He's a speed demon. So you got to look at that option. You could save yourself a lot of money right there too. So it'll be interesting.
My prediction for Allen Robinson is he's probably going to be a Dolphin. That's my hope. That's my prediction for him. And I mean,
And you want to go a cheaper option. I think Juju is going to shop the market, and he's not that expensive. He's productive, but if Big Ben doesn't come back, I really don't know. Are they going to rely on Haskins? I don't think so. And then you got
Yeah.
people like Corey Davis. I mean, he's a solid 1-2 punch with A.J. Brown, but you could always see different teams taking a shot on Corey Davis if he's healthy. There's a lot of not decent receivers coming in this draft. There's a lot of studs in this draft, and then there's a lot of people that have been in the league. Like, think
This
of
free
how cheap you
agency,
could get A.J.
this free
Green for.
agency receiver class is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Like,
Like
you
this
got
is,
A.J. Green, Deshaun Jackson. Like,
mhm.
you have people that
And
you
that's
can
the
get
thing,
cheap that just want to play.
right? And that's the thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's like my thing in Miami. Like, you really like people. Like, you want like the guy who's gonna shock you. The suave. You want your Justin Jefferson. You want your DK. You know what I'm saying? But not everybody's like that. People they gotta realize that not everybody's like them people. Not everybody's like a Julio. Not everybody's like D Hop. You know what I'm saying? And then just like, because everybody's gonna say, oh yeah, Deshaun Jackson, Antonio Brown, oh AJ Green, they're washed up. Yeah, okay, they're not. Pause. They're not washed up. Are they older? Can
No,
they
but you
play?
got that
Do
factor
they have the same
with
potential?
yep.
No. But like you said, they have that factor. They have the experience. They have the route running. They have the timing down.
Yep.
They know how to play. They have years of playing in the league, which you could bring to these other dudes. You look at some of these receivers. Look at some receivers that are good. You don't really see them coming. Like, we seen Julio. You know what I mean? We seen DK. But we didn't see Justin Jefferson pop up. I mean, he was slept on. He was slept on. You know,
That still
so
hurts as an Eagles fan.
you know what I mean. He was slept on. DK, well, DK was slept on in the draft, of course, but he was still up there. He was still hyped up, and just like so, you finding this class is really, really, really deep with receivers, and a lot, and if these teams, you could get the right guy and it can help you. You could bring like I wouldn't be against bringing AJ Green down to Miami to work with Devontae Parker because they're the same size. They play the same style. You throw them up, they win one-on-one balls. AJ Green could teach Devontae Parker some things. You know what I mean? And then,
Hmm. And I
you
think we're
mean
both neglecting the biggest factor is look at how Brady came to Tampa, basically turned the team around just by being a leader. Like, I think the leader is the biggest thing. Think you're going to get 2 rookies this draft. 2 is going into a sophomore year. So bringing somebody in, excluding the talent of play, the route running, teaching them everything, you have that leadership thing, which is good having a young team because you're going to probably have either a lineman or a receiver, a running back, and then a quarterback, all very young. So bringing in a 32 or 33-year-old AJ Green just as a leadership
or
factor
T.Y. Hilton,
is a
something you
good thing. And that's what I mean, like talking about Godwin. Godwin really, he could go somewhere, but if he gets another year or two of Brady and then he leaves, he has that leadership he learned from Tom Brady because let's be realistic. Tom Brady brought the New England way when it comes to how you're supposed to act and how to like be a team player. So I think that's another good thing to look at too is like you said, oh, the D-Jacks or this or that. Yeah, it's great to have them, but look at you bring AB there. Tom Brady got AB to New England. He got him to Tampa, and he made sure AB stayed out of trouble. You bring AB there, like you said, stars want to shine. AB might get overshined by Godwin and Mike Evans and start acting like an idiot again. He might not have that structure. So you got to look at that. Like an AJ Green or T.Y. Hilton, those good veterans that had T.Y. Hilton's still underrated in my book. AJ Green was a savage until the injuries happen. He's still at least a wide receiver 2, a wide receiver 1, depending on the program. So bringing that in just as a leadership thing could be good as well.
absolutely. I mean, you bring AJ Green, and here it's like you think about it, you bring AJ Green in here now. You don't need to play him every snap. You bring him in the red zone. Bring him in on 3rd and short. Bring him in when you need a jump ball. You know what I mean? Bring him in Bring him in, and make him a possession. A situational player. And if they're accepting to that, that works. And and another big boy, we got some big boy. We got a big boy on here. This man, he didn't play a snap in 2019. He was battling with the Redskins offensive tackle Trent Williams. He was able to get traded. I'm pretty sure he got traded to the 49ers. And he's basically one of the best tackles in the NFL. And he's a free agent. And, there's some teams out there that need the tackles. According to PFF, they predict that the Niners are going to re-sign him for 4 years, $80 million contract. And this is where, I tell you, the mock, like the draft, like this is where I like. We're gonna do the mock draft, of course, and I'm gonna tell the viewers, don't quote me on this because I'm gonna change my mind probably as soon as free agency. Because, well, as you know, as the draft all depends on free agency, and this is why I'm bringing up Trent Williams because he's a big tackle. If Miami could go many ways, and I think Miami's a good spot for him. We need a tackle. We need an older dude to bring some experience to a young offensive line who did show experience. He could also probably hit up, Kansas City. Kansas City might be trying to, but I don't know if Kansas City has the money to throw him in. The Chiefs definitely need some tackles. They need some tackles, man. It would be. Personally, though, I really don't think the 49ers are going to let someone at that caliber walk away. They're probably going to throw him the money. But I would like to see him in Miami, especially if we could get him. Then I could tell that we're getting a receiver at number 3. It's real. That's a really good lineman up there. But unfortunately, I think the Niners are going to stick him out. But
then we got safeties with Anthony Harris and Justin Simmons. I think Justin Simmons is going to go to the Broncos.
He's going to stay in the Broncos?
I think that's a solid. Anthony Harris, it says they're going to – let me look here. They actually think Anthony Harris is going to get a pretty good deal. $56 million for 4 years as a safety. That's pretty good, too, signing them with the Washington team, football team, whatever you want to call them. I'm still calling them the Redskins. Get over it. And then you get people like Levante David. He's going to want to stay. And then we kind of get into, like Hunter Henry, like not big names but productive people. Now, I'm telling you right now, the sleeper is Will Fuller. And I actually do see him I agree with PFF of him going to the Packers, which putting him with Devontae Adams is disgusting. If Aaron Rodgers stays, which that's another thing. I don't know where Aaron Rodgers is going. He's another one like Russell Wilson. Throughout the season, I didn't think anything of it. Now, Russell Wilson, there's rumors of him going to New England, him going to the Texans for Watson, Aaron Rodgers going to New England, and I'm just like, dude, like, it's insane where some of these people may end up. Because I bet you even agree. Did we think Tom Brady was ever leaving New England? I thought he was retiring a Patriot. I'll be the first one to admit that.
I did too, but see what Tom Brady showed, and this is why I don't believe those Russell or any QB to New England and Matthew Stafford. He proved this to us because he said it himself. He said, trade me anywhere but New England. That's what he told Detroit. Brady left New England. Gronk left New England. He came back to go play with Brady. They hate playing in New England. It's tough. It's tough. I'm sure you watch NFL Network. You got some ex-Patriot players on, and they be saying, like, man, I hated it there. I did. It sucks. Like, you win.
Fun.
You don't have fun. You don't have, it's not fun there. And it's cold. It's cold.
Yep. It's all business there.
And come on.
Hell yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you what, if the Seahawks or the Packers send Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson to the Patriots, they don't like them. It's personal. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm not saying Bill Belichick can't bounce back, but I'm gonna say this. It's gonna be tough for him to bounce back. You got these dudes balling in Miami, and people fail to realize is his coach, their head coach, is the only Bill Belichick disciple who's been legit. Besides Bill O'Brien, because Bill O'Brien he won playoff games. You know what I'm saying? He did turn Penn State over. We're not going to kill him because he's just not a GM. I think Bill O'Brien's a great coach. He's just a terrible GM. But he looks like a terrible coach because they let him be a GM. But like I said, Brian Flores, in my opinion, is Bill Belichick's best disciple ever. He's literally been in the Patriots organization his whole coaching career. He was the play caller in the Super Bowl against the Rams, and you seen what he did against the Rams this year into his first start. You know what I mean? So, I really think, if anyone New England's it's tough, man. Because and if you really don't think Miami's gonna stop them, okay, but it's gonna be tough to play Miami. And if you don't think Miami's gonna stop them, let's talk about Buffalo because they're only gonna get better. They're only gonna get better. And truthfully, they're probably better than they are. They just didn't realize how good they were because they should have beat the Chiefs. They really should have. you know. And now every team that gets to watch that film of the Super Bowl, every team in the AFC knows how to beat the Chiefs now. Now I'm not saying it's going to be that easy because everybody has a defense like Tampa Bay, but Pittsburgh do, Miami do. We got better DBs than them. We don't got a better pass rush, but shit, we gonna attack that. We might. I don't know. See, that's where Miami also needs some pass rush. There's a lot of little things I think, but definitely anyone that tries to send someone to the Patriots are done. It's gonna be hard for them to bounce back. It's hard, and what's lucky for them is that the Jets won 2 games back to back and put the Jags over them. So now the Jags get Trevor Lawrence. Because if the Jets got Trevor Lawrence, it would be done for Bill Belichick. He would have retired. He would have had to. He ain't coming out of there. No, he's not.
And I'm gonna touch on probably my 2 favorite free agents after you're done, and then we'll get into our mock draft, and that's gonna be fun.
Word.
So I'm thinking my favorite free agent to watch right now is actually J.J. Watt. With the ability to go play with his 2 brothers in Pittsburgh, I think that's definitely an option. Putting him up with Myles Garrett with the Browns, slight option, might be a little bit of a reach. That's one to watch. And then I keep seeing like the top 3 are the Steelers because of his brothers, putting him with Myles Garrett with the Browns at 2. And then everything I keep reading because the Patriots just need to fix – I don't want to say fix it, but I think what a lot of people tend to forget is COVID happened. So people opted out. So teams that may have not been the greatest this year – I'm not saying like the Patriots are going to come back and be 13-3, win the division, and go to the conference championship. But they had 6 starting defensive players not play this year. So got to consider that as well. But I think T.J. Watt, if he gets the opportunity to go play with his brothers, I think that's one of those cool, like, very rare things like basketball when you get brothers on the same team or playing against each other. It's like a highlighted game. Every game's going to be awesome to watch, like the Watt brothers together, even though, Derek, the fullback, he doesn't play much. But just being with your brother on the defensive line, like, that could be scary. So I think that's a fun one to watch. And my other one, even Corvette boy with Juju, depending on what they do with their quarterback situation, he could be – I mean, people want to dog on him for being unproductive after AB left and stuff like that. I won't say it. He wasn't obviously as productive when AB was there because AB attracted so much attention, but he still produced. So I think that's a fun one. I think the Steelers sign him, but I think the Jets are in a rebuild too, so I definitely see that, and that's what the PFF says. 4 years, $68 million with the Jets, so that could be fun because who do the Jets have? Crowder, a receiver.
Yeah.
So bringing him in, he automatically becomes the number 1. So I think that comes down to do the Steelers want to keep him? Does Juju want out? Which is kind of similar to the Godwin thing.
The Jets
Juju's
are really
the number 1 in Pittsburgh right now.
The
But
Jets
the
are
Jets could bring
really
him
good.
in
That's a good
and be the day
that's a good
1
pick.
and get you money. So they're the 2 that I'm excited to watch. And then the other thing going through this, there's a lot of people like Jonnu Smith, Corey Davis, people like that with the Titans. So that'll be fun to watch. Jameis Winston talks of going to the Colts, even though I think after watching Taysom Hill, he can win them games, but I don't see him being a true like every down quarterback for the Saints. Which another topic we said we were going to talk about is Drew Brees going to retire? It seems that way. But you never know. Does Drew Brees come back? So that's another fun one to watch. Then you got like the older. Then you got the older, not older, but like not really in their prime, like the Clownies and stuff like that. You got some more linemen in here, like Villanueva. They're a little older, but that veterans thing. You got Cam Newton. Does he stay in New England? He's working on his body. This says he's going to the Bengals, which that he'd be a good person for Joe Burrow to learn from, or at least create a competition. Sorry. Then you got people like Matt Milano, which I think he's going to stay.
I think
Cam's going there.
Yeah, I think Cam's going to be on the Washington football team with Ron Rivera. I think he's going to, try to mix up things. I think Washington football team's probably a QB away from being a really good team. And honestly, I think Cam fits really well there. it fits their offense. You know what I'm saying? They can run the ball. They run the ball really good with Antonio Gibson, and you bring Cam Newton in there. They Cam ran the ball fairly well this year. He did. He was looking good in New England. I think the COVID, when he got the COVID, I think that kind of just derailed him, and he couldn't recover back from that. And then he started to get the pressure. You know, there's a lot of pressure being in New England. People feel to realize that too. It's pressure, and it's tough too. Like you said, Cam. I'm not saying that Cam probably wasn't having fun. But we know Cam likes to have fun. Maybe that held him back. We don't know. But I definitely like with Juju and the Jets. I definitely agree with that. And my biggest thing why I agree with that is I personally think the Jets are going to stick with Sam Darnold. And I'm not going to say I think I'm going to say is I don't think I'm going to say this. Sam Darnold didn't have a fair share yet. He didn't get a fair opportunity yet, and I really believe that because I don't think he's a terrible quarterback. I think he's pretty well. I think he's pretty good. I think he's pretty good at QB. And also what's intriguing, especially with the Juju thing, is they're both from USC. So there comes, you know, like they both played with each other at USC, Juju and Sam Darnold. So, you know, that could be really intriguing to bring, you know, Juju in. And, you know, that could probably help spark up Sam Darnold. I mean, look at what, like, I think you say it to me, someone else said it to me. Look at what Stephon Diggs did with just Josh Allen. You know what I mean? Stephon Diggs bringing in there with Josh Allen. And look, like the Bills, they really killed the offseason last year. They got receivers who all could run through the middle, like could run drag routes through the middle. They all can. And that's what they like to do. They like to roll out and run, they just like to run verts through the middle and just curves, just benders through the middle. And they're killing teams doing that. They roll Josh Allen out and he just picks them all. Because, you know, it's hard. It's tough. You can't man them, especially when they're going curving through the middle. Someone's going to get open, you know. So I definitely like Juju. Like you said, all they got is Jamison Crowder. Then they did lose Robbie Anderson, their best, like last year in the last offseason to Carolina. So they should be throwing some money at Juju. As we know, they like to make fun of Juju, saying he's the TikTok star, which, you know, I like to say this, like, there is a time and place for those things. But at the end of the day, let's be real. They're not losing games because he's on TikTok. They're not losing games because he's dancing
No,
on
he's
teams'
having
logos.
fun. He's a young kid. He was
You
having
know what I mean?
fun.
He's not. It's not critical. You know what I'm saying? He's not losing games because of that. It's not like he's in the middle of the game with a GoPro on his helmet trying to freaking film the game and put it on Chase Claypool's YouTube. You know what I'm saying? He's not. You know, he's not really doing extra. You know what I'm saying? Is he producing? Is he? I will say, he's not. I mean, he didn't do enough to produce for me to care to watch him, his TikToks. I'll say that, but I'm not mad that he's TikToking neither. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad that he's streaming on Twitch neither. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, he's he's around our age. You know what I'm saying? So he wants to have fun. He's a normal human being, you know, college kid. You know what I'm saying? Just like us. Yeah, he's in the NFL, but he's still got the college kid mind. You know, you got to let them grow. And at the end of the day, and plus, but just like that, you know, I think that would be really well in New York. You know, you got the bright lights, and Juju likes the bright lights, and he embraces that. And I think, you know, New York would be a really good fit. Even the Giants, like if the Giants were throwing some money, I would go play with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. But I think he would like to go meet up with his boy Sam Darnold. He might believe in Sam Darnold, and you know, and Sam Darnold and Juju are both in that same boat. Like, you know, they're kind of getting pushed into the washed up bin. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate for Juju because, I mean, it's unfortunate for a lot of receivers because, especially like if Justin Jefferson does half as good as he did next year, people are going to be dissing him. You know what I'm saying? And then the same thing with Justin Herbert. And it's going to happen. Teams are going to figure Justin Herbert out. Like Justin Herbert, great player. But what happened when he played New England? What happened when he played Miami? He looked worse than he looked like a rookie. He looked like a rookie. You know what I'm saying? So, and that also comes down to when you get film on them, when you find what makes them uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So that's the biggest thing. I definitely agree
And
with
I'm
Juju.
looking here.
Huh?
Bold prediction, Dion, and you'll love this one. Aaron Jones to the Dolphins. Definitely see that one happening.
I like that one. Oh, that's a good bold prediction. I actually read something about that. Actually, well, because I'm going to do a video about J.J. Watt landing spots. And, you know, Wisconsin's one of them. And the biggest thing about, like, Green Bay. I said, but J.J. Watt, the Watts are from Wisconsin, you know, so would he like to go back home? That's a little intriguing. I mean, I have 5 teams up there. I'm only going to give you 3. Tampa, because, you know, I'm going to have a video about it, but Tampa, Pittsburgh, and Green Bay. Those are, like, the only 3. Like, that's why I can't, like, I don't want to say I know 100%, but I do know it's going to be one of them 3. Because I'm going to give you I'm going to tell you something. It's war. And what does war mean? War, W-W-A-R. Watt wants a ring. Period. It's a war. And a lot of people say, well, why do you put Pittsburgh and Green Bay in that conversation when you're talking about ring? Dog, just because Tampa, I know you know, just because Tampa Bay won a ring doesn't mean they're going to win the next one. Doesn't mean Pittsburgh can't win
Nope.
one. Just because Pittsburgh, went undefeated and then just totally lost and then just, went bananas and just gave up everything doesn't mean they can't be competitive next year. They're a great team. They're a great team where and you see it's like Miami. Miami's a great team, and people say, oh, what about the offense? The same thing want to say about Pittsburgh. What about their receivers? That's good. That's good that they played so well with so limited amount of weapons, because what do they got to do? It's simple. Get some weapons. You know what I mean? Green Bay. You're telling me Green Bay's not a champion? They're not a contender. They've been in the last NFC championships. You know what I'm saying? And Green Bay's weird. Like, you know what I mean? They turn up differently. They drafted a QB last year, and Aaron Rodgers was like, what? I'm going to win the MVP. You know what I'm saying? So, but my bold prediction, let me see. Let me find a free agent.
Yeah, that's my bold one. I'm not gonna say 100% because nothing's guaranteed, but I'd be willing to like 95, 96%
All right,
guarantee.
my bold
that Aaron
prediction
Jones
is
sign with the Dolphins.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, my man Fitz, signs with the Chicago Bears and clinches a playoff spot. That's my bold prediction.
Could see that.
Gonna go sign with the Bears. Bear Town.
Let's go through this.
Pull up some.
Just scrolling through these free agency. I don't know if the Eagles are really in the market, but what I think is a steal after last week with everything going on, A.J. Bouye, a corner. So if a team's looking for experience with a decent corner, that could be a fun one to watch.
How
So I
about
think
this
he
one?
could be a steal wherever he goes.
How about this one? This is another
Give me
shocker right here. Richard Sherman of Buffalo.
Ooh, I keep seeing stuff about that. Him with Tre'Davious White, Pryor, and Micah Hyde. That's a nasty secondary.
That's a
Then you
scary
got Terrell
secondary.
Edmonds inside with Matt Milano if he stays. Then you got Oliver and Hughes and Murphy on the line. And really, we saw Buffalo doesn't really need anything offensively. Maybe start looking at linemen, protect.
Yeah,
Like they get
find some
Richard Sherman
rotation
there.
players.
They kind of have.
They should find a vet. Find some.
You realize
vet.
how
They bring a vet down in Buffalo, they're gonna be all right. It might be hard because it's cold, but they'd be all right.
Buffalo's secondary just come on now. Sherman and White at corner, Hyde and Poyer, Pryor, whatever it is.
Then you got what's his name in the slot? Norman in the slot. They could play with Kansas City then.
Then you got like Oliver, Hughes, and Murphy on the line. I know I just said it, but that's insane. The only reason I'm spitting all this is because I started a franchise. I was like, let's see how good Josh Allen is, and it's just insane what that defense can do.
No, that defense is real. That defense is real. And I'm telling you, they're going to – Buffalo, I personally thought Buffalo was about to make it to the Super Bowl. I thought they were going to beat the Chiefs. I thought they were going to have an upset, but they upsetted me. But that's okay.
I thought Bills Packers all year. Bills Packers or Bills.
Yeah, I was thinking Bills
Saints.
Packers. But then after I seen Brady after I seen Brady beat Drew Brees, though, I kind of knew. I was like, okay, Brady might get 7 now. I don't think because bro, that defense, man, I was watching, bro, that Buccaneers defense was eating. Oh, bro, it's since they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs, they've been eating. Everybody on that team's been eating. They've been just been eating. And then in the playoffs, they started off slow against Washington, but I'm like, Washington can play. They got a great defense, and that's the thing. That's what I tell people. And the same thing, when this Super Bowl came, I was like, man, Kansas City, I want Kansas City to win. I want Pat Mahomes to go back-to-back. I do, but I'm going to keep it real with you. They got no defense. And you can't – and Brady is, like you said, he's the GOAT. He is the best at manipulating the game. He knows what you eat. He knows how you study film. He knows what color you're wearing under your shirt. He knows everything. He knows what foot you are, what hand you throw it, if you like to tackle this way, if you're an arm tackler. He knows everything. He's a freak. So when you bring a freak into a mediocre defense who almost let Tua Tagovailoa destroy them and come back and win after they had like 20-point lead, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't believe it. And that's the truth. And Tyrann Mathieu, he could run his mouth, but I'm sorry, Tyrann Mathieu, don't talk to the GOAT like that. I don't care what the GOAT said. Don't talk to the GOAT like that. Don't talk to the GOAT. That's the GOAT. How about you hear about
True.
the
All right, let's move into this mock draft. Go ahead.
before the mock draft? How about that lady? How about the Lombardi trophy lady? She wants to apologize to Brady. Should Brady apologize?
My dad made the trophies. Come on, the dude gets drunk like after he wins the Super Bowl. Like the dude is literally probably, if not,
Like what is she worried about?
takes care of his body better than anybody.
Look, what is
She's
she
mad
worried
because her dad, like, come on, like, yes, we get your dad, like, helps make them or whatever, and you got to see that trophy being produced and stuff. It's not like they dropped it in the water and stuff. They threw the trophy to another boat. He was having fun. Tom Brady got drunk. He was trying to keep up with Gronk in the Florida sun. Didn't consider that. The dude gets drunk maybe once a year. Like, come on, let the dude have some fun. Come on.
Right. You know what I mean? And here's the thing, like my older brother pointed this out to me, and he made a good point. He was like, what was she worried about? The trophy? What, he missing the boat and the trophy go in the water? You think them drunk dudes won't jump in? You think them drunk receivers weren't jumping in after that trophy? You damn right they were. They all would have been diving in. Godwin, Mike Evans, Cameron Bray, they all would have drunk. They all would have jumped right in for that. Brady probably would have jumped in for it. Nah, he wouldn't. He got 6. He got 7. He don't care.
See, another thing I look at was where was this lady when Julian Edelman was throwing baseballs and Gronk tried to bunt a baseball and dented the trophy? Where was she yelling about the dent in the trophy? Like, come on now. You ask me, throwing a trophy or denting a trophy, which one's worse? If you're that upset, I'd be more upset about the dent. Like, come on now. They were having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let them be.
And I would chill out.
They didn't hurt anybody. It's not like they hit someone in the head.
Right. And you think there ain't other silversmiths out here in America that don't want to make that trophy? Let's be real now. Let's be real. You know what I mean? I'm not saying she can have an opinion, but to demand an apology? What? What? Your job wouldn't be irrelevant 7 times if it wasn't for this man. Your job's irrelevant 7 times if it wasn't for this man. 7.
She's probably the same lady that thinks participation trophies are a thing too. Like, come on now.
So let's pull up some.
All right, time for this mock draft. Our mock draft, I think, will probably be pretty spot on. But as you know, like you said, with free agency and trading up and stuff like that, trading down, future picks, I think we both are in agreement. I'm gonna get this mock draft going. I think we all know Trevor Lawrence is going number 1. The only 2 things that I could see is he just had surgery on something shoulder. I don't think it was rotator cuff something after his pro day or whatever. So you can look at that. I really don't think that's a big thing. And then there's a rumor, and I know you'll love this one a little bit, of because Urban Meyer's the new head coach, Ohio State with Justin Fields in the draft. He never played for Urban Meyer, but there's like that Ohio State connection. Besides Cam Newton, and we'll throw like Baker Mayfield in there, and Mariota and stuff, Trevor Lawrence has probably been the best quarterback besides those few I just named to get drafted, and Joe Burrow. Like Trevor Lawrence is the best can run.
QB prospect since Peyton Manning. Period. He is.
I don't know. I would debate Cam Newton with you on that one in 2010. Cam Newton was a savage at Auburn. I'll say that right now.
Yes,
That's the only one I would debate. And then you have a freak season like Joe Burrow. I think Trevor Lawrence is still better than Joe Burrow.
Oh, absolutely.
But
I think a lot of Joe Burrow's good. I think
yeah.
I mean, personally, I think Tua didn't play better than him this year, but I think Tua has more potential.
Yeah.
Especially after coming off the ACL, that's going to be tough. And people fail to realize this. Like, even the setup, though, like, and it's nothing against Burrow. Burrow, QB, legitimately better QB than Tua, hands down this year. I'm not disputing that. When I'm talking about potential, I'm talking about the position of the team. Cincinnati ain't going to do nothing for years. They're kind of in a hole. They're really in a hole. Look, I mean, it might break out, but they're kind of in a hole. They still got a lot of rebuilding. Like, people, if people think Miami's still rebuilding at 10-5 or 10-6, whatever, then what is Cincy doing? Please tell
Yeah.
me. You know what I'm saying? Please tell me. So, but yeah, I definitely agree with you. You know, the Urban Meyer, you're right about that. But this is where it gets tricky. Urban Meyer ain't worried about Justin Fields. He ain't worried about it. He came and took that job
No.
in Jacksonville for Trevor Lawrence. And that's why he took
Oh,
it.
facts.
And
Easily.
easily. And he knows it. You know, he be on the keto when he does his little interviews. He really can't say it. You know, he wants to talk about the injury. Bro, who else you taking, bro? Y'all need a QB, and we know you're not taking Justin Fields. Because if you really like Justin Fields, you would have. You know what I'm saying? Why'd you leave Ohio State? You know what I'm saying? Now, but Ryan Day did really good with Justin Fields. And there's nothing wrong with Justin Fields. I like Justin Fields. I personally I don't think he's going to be a top 3 pick, though. I don't. And it's nothing against
No.
him. I really just don't see him. I really don't see him being a top pick. You know, the Jets might take him at number 2. Personally, I don't think so. In my opinion,
I don't
I
think
see
so
the
either.
I
So
see.
we'll move to pick 2. I think Zach Wilson.
You think Zack Wilson? I think the Jets are going to break my heart early and take Penny Swell. They're going to break my heart early. They're going to take Penny Swell. They're going to, hopefully, if they sign Juju, they're going to try to marriage Juju and Sam
Yep.
Darnold back together at USC, and they're going to go grab a stud offensive lineman to keep Darnold content. And they're going to work on that. And to put with Micah Parsons, because then that line is going to be dangerous after a while. You know what I mean? It's going to be pretty. And I think Frank Gore is going to come back for another year, too. You might want to, you know? But I like Zack Wilson, too. And I
see Zach Wilson. I like his arm strength.
when I first,
He can
when I
run.
first
I
looked at
just
the
think,
mock
and it's
drafts,
nothing against Justin Fields.
good.
I just think his arm strength, he can run. And the only reason I see him going is because he can extend the play. I'm not saying Justin Fields can't. I just, based off watching them, because he's from BYU, so they were usually the late game, and football's football. So watching him play, I mean, he didn't play in as big of games as Justin Fields did, and it's nothing against Justin Fields. You look at the way he shredded LSU's defense in the playoffs. Not LSU. Hold on. Help me
Clemson.
here. What team am I looking for?
Clemson.
Clemson. That's who I'm looking for. I don't know why LSU just came to mind. So you see that, and then you see him when he plays against Alabama. It's just different. Do you trust him enough? I don't know. I just think Zach Wilson, like if they want somebody, I think they're going to go quarterback just because I don't think they're fully bought in with Darnold. I think they want to make it work with Darnold, but I think they'd rather be safe than sorry next year, 2 or 3 years, and have a quarterback. And Sam Darnold, I don't think he's terrible. I don't think he's great. I think he's like in between. He can be good with the right weapons. He just, like you said, he hasn't really been given the opportunity to prove it. So I could see Penei Sewell going, but I think another thing, the only guaranteed pick that I could say is Trevor Lawrence going 1. You got to consider all this stuff. We got to see what they do at the combine too. That could be another big thing. Justin Fields could come up and put insane numbers, have a good throwing session, stuff like that, and boom, he might want to go. Penei Sewell might come in there, and somebody like, let's see, Rashawn Slater from Northwestern might just be a better offensive tackle of what they see. Because you got to see like how much work
Or
can
what
some
they
of these
want.
people, depending on where they are with the pandemic, how many of them can work out the way they can opposed to other states with less restrictions. So I think after number 1, it gets a little iffy. My gut is telling me Zach Wilson. So I'm going with Zach Wilson. You're going with Penei Sewell. So that one will be interesting, I think. I think that could be an interesting to watch too.
Number 3, we got my Miami Dolphins. Now, my prediction, and this is
There are so many options there.
there's so many options, and this is like I'm fine with like every possible scenario. I'm kind of cool with. Like I didn't see nothing too crazy that would make me want to go. I'm cool with everything, but I honestly believe I did a
the only
lot of
thing
researching of the Reese's Bowl coverage, and it really stood out to me that Devonta Smith went to the Reese's Bowl. You know, he had the discolated arm. You know, it's COVID. You know what I'm saying? and you went out there. I get it. You want to talk to your coaches. You want to get out there. But usually, like, a lot of players, like stout players, like even seniors, like if they're really good, they usually don't go to the Senior Bowl. They be like, screw that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need that, blah, blah, blah. Or they don't play. Like Najee Harris went
Like, I'm
too.
getting drafted. I don't gotta go.
Right. He practiced in the game. He
Yep.
practiced, but he didn't play in the game. Right. And I'm like, man, that right there started clicking in my head. Like, I'm turning. So my first pick for the third overall, my pick is the Dolphins are going to take the wide receiver, Heisman winner, Devonta Smith out of Alabama to pair with Tua. I think, they're going to want to give Tua someone familiar, someone that knows Tua, and someone that's willing to play with Tua, because I think that's the big issue in Miami now too. So I pick him. I think he's going to be a pick. He was down there talking with the
I've seen
coaching
a couple
staff.
things.
Go ahead.
The only thing that I saw that I kind of shook my head a little bit was I'm not sure of like the whole circumstance thing at the end. And then this makes another interesting take. First off, I just want to say the Dolphins had a great year, and the trade that they got with Houston, getting the third overall pick, is just insane to fathom. It being, what were they, 10-6 or 11-5? So that's just insane right there. So then you look, do they trade back, whatever. If they trade back with the Panthers, I'm assuming the Panthers are looking in the area of quarterback. So does that open up for Justin Fields to go at 3 to them?
Ooh,
Or like you said, does Penei Swell do we go to 2 and Penei Swell, like what you think is going to happen, goes to the Jets because they believe in Darnold? And do they take Zack Wilson at 3? So that's an interesting thing to look at. Or we never know. It could be like this mock draft that I'm looking at just for like references and all that stuff. Does it go Trevor Lawrence, Zack Wilson, and the Dolphins take Penei Swell to protect Tua, which isn't a terrible pick in my mind at all. But then what I was telling you earlier is what people are talking about is Devonta Smith going to 3 to the Dolphins and Najee Harris at 18. Well, if you're going to get Aaron Jones and you're going to trade back, that opens the window for maybe a person that you don't really hear of. I'm just looking like Christian Darrisaw from Virginia Tech or Rashawn Slater from Northwestern. You can get another offensive tackle if you go receiver or that route. So I think, honestly, I don't think the Dolphins can lose with their first pick in this draft, whether it's a trade back or whatever. Now, I want Devonta Smith to fall to the Eagles. I'll touch that when we get to the Eagles. But it'd be hard for me to say if there's not a trade back that Devonta Smith doesn't go to the Dolphins. Now, if it goes Lawrence and Wilson, I think it's tempting that the Dolphins take Penei Swell at 3.
Right.
So I'm going to say what I want versus what I need, what I want versus what I think is going to happen. What I want is it to be Lawrence and Wilson at 1 and 2, and you guys to take Penei Swell. That's what I want to happen. What I think is going to happen is what you said. I think Devonta Smith is going to go, unless there's a trade back.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. I think Miami, they're going to get at number 3, and they're going to do 4 things. They're taking Penei Swell, if he's still there, Devonta Smith, or Jamar Chase. And I like Jamar Chase. I think Jamar Chase is a better player than Devonta Smith, hands down. I really do. Watching the film, he is, and it's very intriguing that he didn't play at Seagull. Like, he's healthy. Like, he didn't play last year, so he's fresh legs, and I'm sure he's been working out. He ain't no mean must. He ain't no bum. I'm sure he's working out. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
you think of him, or they're going to do a trade. Now, I really don't have any predictions what a trade they'll do. I'm going to say here, if they do a trade, I'm a believer. I trust GM Chris Greer, because look, he got us this 3rd overall pick, and we almost went to the playoffs. So I trust Miami's front office. They want to trade it. I trust them. But I really think they're gonna take Devonta Smith. I think, they really liked his conversations with them. I think they really, embrace that. And want to build. What they build in Miami is like a brotherhood. They're really trying to build, like, they're close in Miami. Like, if you watch that Bengals game, they was ready to fight. Like, they tight in Miami. So it only makes sense to bring in your man, Tua's man. And let's think about this. If Tua's not it, right? It doesn't mean Devonta Smith ain't gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean he won't be good. And that's the same thing I told these Dolphins fans. Why would we trade away the potential of having 3 Alabama standouts for one Clemson dude? No, not me. And then number 4 on the clock,
So
we got
then
the Atlanta Falcons.
they're going quarterback. I think that we know they're going
Yeah,
quarterback.
you know where
Nothing
I'm
against
going
Matty
here.
Ice.
You know where I'm going here. This is where my boy's going. He's from Georgia. He went to Georgia before he transferred to Ohio State, and then he's going to be a Atlanta Falcon, Justin Fields.
Ooh, see, this is that one versus what I think again. I think the most sense is Justin Fields. Put him with Ridley, a veteran. Well, a veteran with Julio, a stud with Ridley. Makes the most sense. But then I'm going to go back to the whole combine thing. I think a lot of people sleep on Trey Lance. So I wouldn't be opposed to Trey Lance going at 4, but I think I'm going to agree with you, and Justin Fields is going to be a Falcon. I think we don't even have to talk much more on that. Unless something stupid happens at the combine that Justin Fields looks like an idiot and Trey Lance shines, I think Trey Lance would be a steal for them. I don't think they could really lose with whoever they draft. They're going quarterback. So I definitely agree with you. I think that's where Fields is going. But as a bold prediction, I'll throw a bold prediction out there because I'm sure me and you will do a follow-up kind of thing. We could do this like weekly. We could talk about other sports, whatever. But we're definitely going to do another one of these after the draft because I'm sure there's going to be something in there that we're like, what the hell just happened?
Oh, absolutely. Giraffe
So
recap.
I'm going with you with Fields at 4 to the Falcons.
Word. So for my graphics, before I want to make sure I get all this down. So for number 1, we both pick Lawrence. That's easy.
Yep.
Number 2, I picked Penny Sewell to the Jets.
And I went with Zack Wilson.
And then for number 3, you went with?
I went with Penny Sewell, but I said I could see Smith going, but I'm going to go with Penny Sewell on that one.
Yeah.
Unless there's a trade back, then that'll just be a topic. That'll be a good topic to discuss when we get to the recap.
And we both agreed Fields will go 4 to Atlanta.
Yeah.
All right, very good. All right, number 5.
The fun starts at number 5. So this is saying Penny Sewell's going to fall to 5, which if there's some trade backs or no value and who they want to take, all right, I could see it. So then this, and you'll like this one. I think this is going to be one of those drafts of what makes the most sense is put your quarterback with your receiver. So they have Penny Sewell going here. I think Jamar Chase is going to be
absolutely. I'm with you on that. That's who I was writing in for myself. Go ahead.
That's who makes the most sense to me. And I'll touch on this again when we get to the Eagles because I'm an Eagles fan, so that's going to be a fun discussion. The only thing that I look about, and even if you guys at 3 decide to take Chase, my biggest thing is, like you said, the pro is he put up stud numbers as a sophomore and opted out this year. Okay. You watch Devonta Smith play this year. You know he can play. And we know Jamar Chase isn't a bum, so he's probably working out. Personally, and I'll touch on this with the Eagles thing again, I would feel more comfortable drafting a receiver that I watched play this year. I'm not saying Jamar Chase can't be good or just as good, if not better. It's just personally, if I was going to pick between the two, I would take Devonta Smith over Jamar Chase solely based on the fact that I watched him play this year. That's kind of like my factor on that one.
And he stepped up.
I think 5 is where Jamar Chase is.
Yeah. And I mean,
then we move into 6 with the Eagles. So first, we're just going to go into I'm going to ramble kind of how we did with the 3rd pick with the Dolphins. So first off, the Eagles need to figure out what they're doing with Wentz. We both agreed prior to the video starting we should keep Wentz. So they got to figure out that mess. What are they going to get? Are they going to trade Wentz to Carolina and get the 8th pick, which could throw a wrinkle in this and be fun? I don't really see that happening. I see him being a Bear because I don't think the Eagles front office is going to jump on what the Colts are willing to give unless they throw Ertz in that package, which even if they do that, I don't hate getting the Colts' 21st pick in the first round. I don't hate it, but I don't exactly love it. So the options here are if Chase doesn't go 5, you look at Chase, which, okay, if Devonta Smith falls there, I'm saying if Devonta Smith falls that far, you take Devonta Smith. Highly unlikely that happens unless there's a trade back or the Bengals would be the only other option if there's a trade back with the Dolphins and the Panthers for Smith to be still there because we know a quarterback is going to the Falcons. So then that leaves, do we want to fix it? We need a receiver. So if Jamar Chase is there, take him. If Devonta Smith's there, take him. They're both there, which I highly, highly doubt. I take Smith. Then you look at the secondary issue with Jalen Mills. He's a free agent. He's probably going to leave. I don't see him staying. You got to help me out on this one. Who just had a knee surgery that played corner for us? I'm drawing a blank here.
So the dude
Wasn't
from
Douglas.
Detroit?
It was somebody. I'm not sure. We had someone in the secondary that was a corner that had a knee surgery. So then you can touch on the whole thing of Patrick Surtain or Caleb Farley. I mean, I think Caleb Farley is the better choice in that one, but Alabama's known for secondary, so I like Surtain if that's our best option. And then you look at somebody like Micah Parsons. He's a hybrid kind of thing. Kind of reminds me of is it Isaiah Simmons? Was he the stud for Clemson?
Yeah, he's on the Cardinals.
That's kind of who. Yeah, that's kind of who Micah Parsons reminds me of. He's kind of like one of those. I don't want to say rare, but every few years of a tight end that can play coverage, can step up in the box and fill the run, can be moved around. So that's a solid one. And then depending on who's there, there's talks to Kyle Pitts because he's a tight end at 6'6", 240. He can play receiver. He's proven that. So you got to look at that. And then there's talks to Jalen Waddle, which loved the guy in college, speed demon. So there's a bunch of options that they could take. I know I'm going to say it probably for a lot. Well, probably not after this because I don't really care about many more teams except a couple. A want versus a need. I want a receiver, but we need a corner. So I'm thinking we're going to go with Micah Parsons at 6. That's who I'm going to go with. I'm not sold on it. Like, I'm not 100% that's who they're going to take, but that's who I think is going to make the most sense to me.
Absolutely. I think the Eagles are going to, just like I said about the Devonta Smith, they're going to – I believe Philly is leaning towards Hurts more than Wentz, in my opinion. So I think they're going to go take that – who some say is better than Devonta Smith. They're going to go take Jalen Waddle. I got them taking Jalen Waddle at number 6.
See, I think they're going to take Micah Parsons, and that's who I'm going to stick with because that's what my gut tells me. But I wouldn't hate if we took Patrick Surtain to pair him with Darius Slay on the other side. Yeah, but we saw cool. People like Okudah got hurt. He was stud in college for the Lions. Well, for Ohio State, and then played for the Lions. He got hurt. And then you got, who was it? Stephon Diggs' brother playing for Dallas at corner. Wasn't terrible. He had his moments, but he was getting burnt. So it's not bad considering like the Giants and Cowboys have the 10th and 11th pick, so they could go receiver or something insane or get another corner. So I think we're going to go defense unless something insane happens that Jamar Chase or Devonta Smith fall that far. I want Jamar Chase. That's who I want. That's who my gut would tell me if he's there. I just don't think he's there. So I'm realistic. I'm going to go with who I think is going to be there, and I think they're going to take Micah Parsons.
That's not a bad pick.
I'm going to lock that in. I'm going to lock that in as my final answer, unless something stupid happens. So
number 7, we got the.
So I think what we should do for this, what we should do is we should do another one of these after we see the combine, just to see. Like, we'll take our original post-combine and then the post-draft, because some things may change. Some things we might be like, oh, shit, like
yeah, no doubt.
I might change my mind. I might Jalen Waddle in the combine and be like, oh, shit, Dion, you're right. I'm locking in my post-combine with Jalen Waddle. Like, that's who I'm going with. So, but my gut right now goes Parsons. So 7 with the Lions. I think they're in the QB market. Maybe.
Yeah, no doubt. We could do another
Possibly.
mock draft too after like free agency, like after like the big moves go on, like the big move, like after like a week or two after the first, because after like when the first week of free agency, that's when like the most stuff happens, and everything else is just like probably won't happen until the season starts. So like, and like, we could do a post one after free agency, a post one after the combine, talk about the combine and all that stuff, talk about free agency. We could do this every week. I don't care. You know what I mean? Depending. They like it, we love
No,
it.
I'm cool with that. So the Lions just got Goff, right? Because Stafford went to LA. So I can't say that they're really in the QB market. So I mean, this is a fun take right here with what I'm reading. Is you got Trey Lance at 7 and Kyle Pitts at 8. Well, if they're not in the QB market and Kyle Pitts is there, you take Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts goes to the Lions. Because if you're going to lose, what's his name? Galladay in free agency, which is probably going to happen. He's probably going to be a Giant. So Kyle Pitts could replace him because you have, what is it, Hawkinson or whatever.
Yeah, the tight
So
end.
I'm going to go with here. Yeah, I think they're going to, if they traded everything away and got what they got, well, not trade everything away, but made the trade to get rid of Stafford for Goff, I don't really see them being in the QB market. So I think I'm going to go Kyle Pitts at 7. I think that's who I'm going to go with for that.
Kyle Pitts. The Lions, they need man, they need a lot.
I know that's kind of how Dion, because me and you keep up with football and everything. It seems like there's a lot of teams that need a lot, and then the other half of those teams don't really need a lot. Like you said, role players and stuff like that,
Little
or
things,
people
little
that they
things.
might need little things like.
Like
So
the
that could be
Giants, I mean
fun.
the Lions, they need a receiver. Galladay's a free agent. They need a linebacker. They need a corner
Which,
and a quarterback. Because look, let's be real. Jared Goff ain't it,
hey
man.
Dion, I'm gonna hit you with this right now. I'm gonna retract everything I said. Jalen Waddle's gonna be a Lion. That scratch the Pitts thing. I think Jalen Waddle's going to go to the Lions. That's a very bold prediction of me, but I could see that. If he's there, him over Pitts, I could see it. It comes down to the draft. If I think Kyle Pitts was phenomenal in the draft, I might post combine and be like, all right, Dion, I think Kyle Pitts is going to be a Lion. But I'm looking at some of the names going through here. I could see Jalen Waddle being a Lion
Yeah,
for
that's good.
sure.
It's crazy. Our sixth and seventh picks are flip flop. I have, as you know, I have Waddle going to the Eagles, but I have Micah Parsons going to the Lions. I see him. I see the
Ooh,
Lions
I could
going
see
out
that.
and building their defense and, saying like, screw it. Jared Goff ain't it, but also, let's be real. Zack Wilson, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know. He, like, at the end of the day, like, he's good. He shows signs, but he's not even a Justin Fields. You know what I'm saying? Not that he can't be
Facts.
better, but he's not. You know what I'm saying? And he really ain't no Trevor Lawrence. I mean, dog, there's not a lot of, I mean, Jared Goff ain't no Trevor Lawrence. So. And he's been to a
Facts.
Super Bowl.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So you put that out. I think the Lions are gonna go here and say, look, we gotta get this defense right. You know, we just got rid of Matt Patricia. He couldn't fix our defense. We gotta get this defense right. Let's go get this linebacker. Like you said, Micah Parsons might actually be a big sleeper, and people are gonna sleep on him because of Trevor Lawrence's and these wide receivers.
See,
He's gonna be a problem. And I think
this is the thing that I keep seeing. Micah Parsons is a sleeper in this draft, but the problem is there's hazing allegations and partying and stuff with him. So I keep seeing a lot of these top 10 teams in this draft are kind of like, do we want to bring a kid in like that? So Micah Parsons is a steal in the draft, but I think it comes down to, are they listening to what is being said, which it isn't the most reliable source. There was another player there, and he wasn't getting the playing time and left. So was he just salty and went after a
right.
star knowing it could mess up his stock? That could be a thing. Did he do it? I mean, we'll never know. We know how famous Penn State is for allegations. So,
That's a fact.
who
And their
knows? Micah
reputation
Parsons
is
could
kind of
fall at
tough
10
too.
this draft saying Cowboys. So, like, do you take – like, nothing really came out of it, but your front office may believe that, just taking their word for it, because I would like to believe that someone would just throw an allegation out like that. But if they're saying it, something happened. Maybe not to the extreme of what he said of, like, when people are bending over and for the viewers, like,
Yeah, I think Penn
air
State's
humping and putting his genitalia on people's faces and acting like he was climaxing. I'm trying to keep this PG for your viewers because I don't know who's going to view it. They were the allegations. So how much of that is true? Like, we've been in college locker rooms. Like, nothing of that ever where we played am I saying happened. But I've heard of other schools and stuff like that. So I'm not going to say it's far-fetched that it didn't occur or it did. So that could be interesting. It depends how people feel about him with those allegations as well. And he's another one. He opted out this year. Is he going to be the Micah Parsons stud linebacker hybrid thing that everybody knows he can be, or did he slack a little bit and maybe he's not as good?
Yeah, and that's another
So
thing. You
I
made
think
a
that's
lot
an
of good
interesting
points,
thing.
and I'm gonna go on the allegation, and one it's kind of like I feel it's kind of he's stuck between a rock and a hard place because he goes to Penn State, and we know Penn State is notorious
Yep.
for hazing. We know it. They're notorious, and then they didn't, and they just had the dude pass away. He got they let him from hazing and drinking, so. You know what I'm saying? And that was that spotlight was a couple years ago. So that's also gonna bring light to the conversation. And then another thing too about even like not just in particular Micah Parsons, but every player that decided to pass up this season. We understand it was a health crisis, but we all understand. Zeke, do you think you? I'm sure you agree with me. I'm going to assume, and I'm under the impression I'm going to be wearing a mask in September, aren't you?
Oh, for sure. For
Absolutely.
sure.
So I'm under the impression, I'm under the feeling that we're still going to be going through the same pandemic. We're getting better each day. We're going to go through the same thing, right? So are y'all gonna? Are you scared now? You know what I'm saying? And we get it. It was different, but that's going to be like a big
Yeah.
question too. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sure teams probably really think about that because there's some dudes who, if they're literally scared, then they may be scared to do it again. They may want to sit out another year. So is it worth to draft a player who might not even want to play that year? He won't even play his rookie year. So that's a lot of things that come into question. Big two players wanting to sit out. I mean, I'm sure the NFL, and I mean, as we've seen with the NBA, with the bubble, as this, moved on, they came with more creative and safer ways to, continue on with the sports world with adding fans and, traveling and stuff. So they did get better and may help, players be more comfortable. But still, I'm sure that's going to come into a question like, that's going to ask. I'm like, dude, are you going to sit out because you're scared of the corona? And then how are you going to tell a team that you are?
Yeah,
Because this is the
facts.
same team that just risked it their whole life out there going and traveling to games. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big thing, I think. I don't really think that's going to be – well, it may not be a big thing, but that's definitely going to be a question. They'll definitely question them about that, and I'm sure they will. It's the same thing. Look at like like you just said with the
So,
Patriots. All them players, I'm not saying they're scared. And it's not so much that they're scared. Like, I get it. Some people have family that lives with them. These are grown men. They have children. They have responsibilities. I dig that. But at the end of the day, but, it's going to be a question, especially for a draft prospect.
so who are you taking at 7? Parsons, right?
Yeah.
So we'll go to 8. So now we're on to the Panthers. So if there's not a trade back with the Dolphins, do they go QB here? And even if there is, does Carson Wentz end up there? And the Eagles are taking 8. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna go with my gut and say that they're gonna be in the QB market. So I'm gonna go Trey Lance at 8.
Trey Lance. That's not a
That's what
bad
I'm gonna
pick.
go with at 8. I mean, if there's not a trade back or Wentz ends up there, which that was just speculation for us to get like Robbie Anderson or a Galladay or a receiver out there to unload Wentz in his contract, then I see Lance going there. I can't, and I know I touched it. I just can't see the Lions pulling the trigger on a rookie quarterback after they brought Goff in. Because even if Goff isn't the guy, we got to consider. I mean, I think it's going to be fun to watch. Who's the quarterback for Oklahoma right now? Spencer Rattler. You got to look at the talent that's coming up and quarterbacks transferring because of COVID and stuff like that. So even if you're not sold on a quarterback this year as a team like the Lions, you're going to have the opportunity again. And as you saw, like quarterbacks, like we've talked, like the Aaron Rodgers and Wilson and stuff, I don't think they're going anywhere, but we didn't think Tom Brady was going anywhere. So there's always a chance to get another quarterback if Goff isn't the answer. So that's why I think the Panthers go with Lance here.
Absolutely, absolutely. My pick for number 8 with the Carolina Panthers, I think – oh, snap. Where am I trying to go? There we go. All right, we go. For my 8th overall pick, I have the Carolina Panthers selecting tight end from Florida, Kyle Pitts. And why I picked Kyle Pitts, they need a tight end. Greg Olson's gone. I'm not sure. Did he retire or I think he's somewhere else? But he ain't in Carolina. And that was like their main man. Greg Olson was a beast down there. I see them, going to relive Kyle, going to, refill that tight end position, make it solid with Kyle Pitts. Just like you said, he has like some Evan Ingram in him. He's a little bit better, I think. He could play receiver. You could split him out wide. You could do many things with him. So I really like him personally. I think I put him down for 8. And that's because I really think the Carolina Panthers are going to stick with Teddy Bridgewater. And the reason why I say they're going to stick with Teddy Bridgewater because I'm looking at Teddy Bridgewater's season. Like, let's say this man he basically has been rejuvenated, right? He was in Minnesota, knees banged up, blah, 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 yeah. Boom, went to the Jets. He was balling in the preseason, balling so bad that the Saints were like, hold up, bring that man over here. So the Saints came in, they brought Teddy Bridgewater. Just like this year, Drew Brees got hurt in 2019. Teddy Bridgewater went on a game win streak, undefeated. Boom, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if they want to finish, but he kept the Saints competitive. So when Drew Brees got back, they're able to go into the playoffs and be competitive. That got him his job at Carolina. He looked good at Carolina this year. I think what hurt him, though, was the loss of Christian McCaffrey. And I really think that's big because when they lost Christian McCaffrey, defenses and defensive coordinators, they were able just to scheme on Teddy Bridgewater and pick on him. You know what I mean? And he really, he had Robbie Anderson. I mean, he was balling Robbie Anderson. I had Robbie Anderson on fantasy this year. Robbie Anderson was balling this year. So, I think they're going to, give Teddy Bridgewater another chance. But also, I'm not 100% sold on Teddy being there because Matt Rule did say he was talking about what he's looking for in a quarterback at the Reese Senior Bowl, which is definitely questionable when you got a man like Teddy Bridgewater. So, but I think they're going to go take the tight end.
Yeah, I agree with you. I could see Pitts going there. I think they're in the QB market because of what you said when Rule said that at the Reese's Bowl. So that's why I think they go quarterback there. I mean, we've seen weird shit happen in the draft all the time. The Eagles are good at that, passing on Justin Jefferson. Whatever, but I don't disagree with you at Pitts going 8. I just think, like what you just said, I just think they're in the market more for a quarterback this year. But who knows? They could go corner. They could throw a loop in this shit. If Micah Parsons is still there at 8, that might be – bold prediction here. If Micah Parsons is still there, that could be their Luke Kuechly. That could be their new Luke Kuechly there. So we know they can produce linebackers. So if Micah Parsons is there, that's another bold one you could throw in there. I could see them going defense and being like, you know what? Take Micah Parsons. So
that's a good fit.
It all depends really what they're looking for. So 9, if Surtain for the Broncos is still there, now I think it's going to get into kind of where – there's going to be names on here we know of them, but we don't know a lot about them kind of thing. I know the next few picks until we hit the 49ers when it turns into linemen and stuff where we might be like, oh, this person's going instead of him. But I'm going to go with Surtain. I think Surtain and Caleb Farley are interchangeable. But this is another thing. If the Broncos are going to unload, I've seen a thing with the Eagles unloading what the Eagles have in 9. I keep seeing things of the Eagles being able to end up with 2 top 10 draft picks. So for someone like KJ Hamler in their first pick and another pick to unload Carson Wentz in a 2nd or 3rd round, if Drew Lock isn't the answer out there. So it'll be fun to see what the Broncos do there, but I'm going to go with Surtain at 9. But 9? I don't hate – that's another one. We can literally go to 11. We could say Micah Parsons is still in the question for any team. And I think Caleb Farley and Surtain, I think that's going to be another combine thing of who produces. So, but I'm going to go with my gut and go with Surtain at 9 to the Broncos.
Absolutely. I got the Broncos. I got John Elway trying to do it again for one more time. He's going to go take Trey Lance. I'm going to take Trey Lance out of South Dakota.
Ooh.
And he's going to say, you know what? Zack Wilson's cool, but we like Trey Lance. And I'm going to tell you why. Carson Wentz had success.
He's a baller. He's a baller.
Down at NDSU. Trey Lance is a baller, just like Wentz. Bring that success.
For sure.
He's there. You know what I mean? You might as well get him. He may not be here later in the first round. If he keeps slipping, someone's going to take him. He got potential. I see them taking Trey Lance at number 9 and trying to move on. And it's not so much that they're giving up on Drew Lock. I think they need to bring someone in to put some fire under Drew Lock, because I think Drew Lock might be there.
Create that competition. Yep,
he needs that competition. Exactly. And I think he's been in the league long enough to be able to handle that too.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of like the same thing that happened with the Bears this year. Trubisky wasn't playing terrible, so they brought Foles in there, and we saw, like we talked about, Mitch Trubisky, and everybody loves Nick Foles and stuff. But I think what a lot of people neglect, and obviously I love Nick Foles because he got us a Super Bowl. It's that leadership thing, that learning, that experience, and that, like you said, the fire to push. Because Drew Lock can be a good quarterback.
Yeah.
I'll throw another. I know we're throwing bold prediction out there left and right. He's kind of like a Sam Darnold. He really hasn't had that solid opportunity,
right?
Like other quarterbacks have.
And they're slowly building it. Like
I see the Trey Lance. I could see that.
And he started to do good. Like I say, you bring in Trey Lance, it kind of puts Drew like, all right, look, I got to get on because like it's real now. It's a business. There's nothing against it. Like I'm not saying like I don't think Drew Lock's played terrible. I'm just saying like we know John Elway's on the hot spot. He's John Elway, for God's sake, and he can't find a QB. He's one of the best QBs, arguably, and he can't find one. So he's on. He's just like he's going QB crazy. So I feel like if everything went like how I predicted, having Lance available at number 9, I feel like he's gonna pull that gun. He's gonna pull the ticket. He might look at Zack Wilson too. But I like the Trey Lance, a smaller D1 school. So he obviously did something to get his attention, just like Wentz did, and he could ball.
And I think the biggest thing that we got to consider are these trade backs. Like I could see in it, especially if what I know I said Waddle is a bold prediction to the line, or no, I said Trey Lance at 8. You don't know, like you said earlier in this, we don't know what the Jets are going to do. The Jets could trade back. They could trade back at 8, and the Lions could pop up and end up taking like a Zack Wilson at 2 or something. Like I read multiple mock drafts a day. I read like Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport and all them. I watch ESPN. I read I don't just go like CBS and NFL drafts. Like I'm on Sportsnot. I'm on PPI. Like I try to expand and look at all the things. Like I could see Zack Wilson potentially being a Panther if they trade up. If the Jets aren't sold on him, on Sam Darnold, I could definitely see that. There's rumors in this one right now. I'm reading. Trade Carolina Panthers for Zack Wilson. Trade San Francisco 49ers Justin Fields. So Kyle Pitts to the Atlanta Falcons. Like anything could really happen. Penei Sewell 5 to the Bengals and Jamar Chase going at 6. And Devonta Smith being a Lion. So there's a lot of speculation of what could really happen. Or this is even one that I wanted. That'd be a nice 1-2 punch. I know Juju is really a slot receiver, but a trade, and I know I'm sidetracking right now. If the Jets trade back to 8 with the Panthers, Jalen Waddle's probably going to be there. Shit, here you go again. Another trade. Washington football team, Trey Lance. Like, there's a lot of stuff that could happen. I'm still going to go with Surtain at 9 to the Broncos, unless Elway, like you said, is out there looking for a quarterback, which just you got to consider free agency too. Some teams might get what they want now, and they might go a completely different route. Like Falcons could be like, all right, we found something in free agency. We're going to go with Penei Sewell or something. So I think this is going to be one of the most interesting drafts just based off COVID, free agency, and the draft class that's coming out. It's just going to be like a draft we haven't really seen before. I would compare it to, what was it, the 2017 or 2018 draft when Saquon went 2 and Baker went 1. I thought for sure Saquon was going 1 to the Browns, but we saw they wanted a quarterback at the time. I think it really depends on what they want versus what they need. I think that's the topic of how I'm doing this. What makes the most sense versus what I want to see happen. So I think that's going to be fun to see.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So you're going with Trey Lance at 9. 10, I'm going Caleb Farley.
Yeah, I agree
10,
with
I'm
you
going
there.
Caleb Farley to the Cowboys.
I feel like that's sealed in. I mean, he's like arguably one of the best corners, like you said, with Surtain. I like Farley a little bit more. Like you said, I agree with you though. You think you got to watch the combine, see how they flip their hips, see how they adjust to the receiver, little things. But the Cowboys, they drastically. I mean, man, they needed a corner for like decades, so they need to go out and get this corner. They haven't had a good corner since Neon Dion, so they need to go out and get a corner. I mean, well, they had Byron Jones, and the Dolphins took him from him, but still, they need a cube. They need a corner, like seriously. So they should go out and get the Caleb Farley, and let him do some. Let him.
Oh, side note, Xavier Howard got ripped off of Defensive Player of the Year. Xavier Howard got ripped off as Defensive Player of the Year. I'm sorry. I'll say it right now. And even giving Aaron Donald it over TJ Watt, I could have been okay with TJ Watt getting it over Howard. But come on, 10 picks? Come on now.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I can't even. I'm not even about to get hyped, bro.
Like, come on,
get hyped, bro.
And I was watching that.
Wait,
See, now it turns into fun with this draft because the thing I'm reading is like I'm buffering.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we good. You good.
Like now I'm getting into like Parsons at 10, Caleb Farley at 11, and then some linemen. So we could keep going in order. I might just like start throwing out names, but like if you just want to bounce to like the teams, like we'll go to the Giants and say like what we think makes the most sense. You know what I mean? Because I got to do a little more research because I don't really know anything about Gregory Rousseau from Miami. I know of him, but I don't know enough to be like, oh, he's going here. So if you want to keep writing down until I watch the combine and research more, and then I'll give you my full one. But we could be like Giants, what makes the most sense for them in the draft? You know what I mean? So it's up to you however you want to take it. You could give me your set stone pick, and I'll tell you what I think makes the most sense, however you want to do it.
Yeah, bro, it don't matter. We can keep going. Like I said, right now we're at we're at the Giants now, number 11.
We're at the Giants. See, they have Caleb Farley going. So who in the top? You know what? I'm going to throw a bold prediction out just because I don't have it. I'm going to go with Pitts at 11.
Yeah.
So then I took the first 11 people off, and now I can work through. I'm going to go with Pitts. Just because Ingram, it just gives them another weapon. Like they're gonna hit free agency for a receiver. Ingram could have sealed a playoff win a playoff spot when they played the Eagles. If Ingram catches that, he's injury prone. So I don't hate the Kyle Pitts pick at 11. I don't think he falls that far, but I'm gonna go with Pitts at 11.
That's pretty. I like that. If I didn't take Kyle Pitts already.
I don't think he'll be there, but like what I'm saying is he's the only person I haven't used out of the top 11 picks on here. So just to keep it sane for this first podcast mock draft, put that on a t-shirt, podcast mock draft. This way, then I can kind of have an understanding of where I'm going with, like, because I don't know anything. I know of Rashawn Slater, but when we get to Christian Darisaw or Slate, however you say it, at 13 to the Chargers, I don't really know anything about that. So I'll probably go with what one of these mock drafts say, to be completely honest.
No doubt. Well, actually, I got the Giants. Let me see. I'm about to look up top 100 draft prospects. Because screw it. We could just guess players.
Ooh, I'm drawing.
Like, we could just guess
Dion, I'm
players.
drawing. So I have my first 11 picks in. Guess who I don't have in my top 11 now that I just realized?
Who?
I don't have Devonta Smith in there anywhere. I'm going to have to go back and look at where I have people going to see. I just thought about that because I have Penny Swell going at 3. Oof.
You had the Eagles pass him.
Oh, boy. Well, I just don't think he's going to be there. That I went off there with you guys taking Penny Swell. So, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change my 7 with Waddle. I'm going to change that to Smith just because I forgot about him. And I could send you an updated list so you're not like, what the hell did Zeke say here? So I'm going to put Smith at 7, and then I'm going to look through here. Yeah, because I could see Waddle going other places, actually. So I got to remember to put Waddle in here somewhere. And then I know he's going to be a steal because I watched him play. Yeah. So I'm going to put Smith at 7. I don't think he falls that far, but this is like my first time sitting down going and not just thinking about what the Eagles are going to do to crush my dreams for the upcoming season.
Word.
So who you got going at 11?
All right, before I do that, I'm going to show you what I'm doing because I agree with you. I'm starting to, like, not really know these players now, but I continue want to do the mock draft, bro. Just go, like, look up. I'm on PFF, and I'm looking at, like, the 100 big board. Just go on there and just pick a fucking random player. You know, like, someone that you think would fit. Like, you know how you talk about, like, what the team needs? Think about what a team's need, and then just find a player. Like, what I'm going to do,
Yeah.
I'm about to say it. I'm gonna say it more, but I'm going with because I just looked at it. I'm going to say the Giants are going to take Kwity Paye from the edge from Michigan. And they have like a little description. Like it says, Payne has everything you could want physically about every problem NFL. And, and just tweak that a little bit and just say whatever they're saying about that. And that'd be good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I got you. Yeah, I'm pulling it up now. So I'm actually – jeez. I'm actually going to go – so you're going with Paye at 11. I'm going to go with Paye at 12 to the 49ers just because they're known for defensive line. And I think it depends what they want to do. Are they going to keep Garoppolo? If they get rid of Garoppolo and they get another quarterback, they might go offensive line. But I think I'm going to go with Paye at 12 to the Niners. I think that's where I'm going to go with that one.
All right. Well, yeah, because for my 11th pick with the Giants, I have the Giants taking Kwity Paye from Michigan. Paye is, a physical defensive lineman. The Giants kind of gave away. They used to have a good physical D line. It'd be good to add that to it, and just strengthen their defense. I think that's just the best available player at number 11 for the Giants. And then who's number 3? Who's 12? Who's got pick 12?
12 is the Niners.
Okay, yeah. So for the Niners, you got who again? For the Niners, you're picking who?
Kwity Paye.
Kwity Paye. Okay. Kwity Paye. Hey, that's not bad that, to throw him in with that D-line either. And you know what? They might take Kwity Paye, send Bosa to Houston and Garoppolo and bring Watson over. Oh, that could be dangerous. Ooh, that could be dangerous. I mean, I wouldn't give up Bosa for Watson. No, I think Bosa's a better player, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but that's what I mean. Like, we could see stuff like that happen. Like, this whole draft that we're doing could get flipped upside down if Watson goes somewhere and when. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think Wentz so much, but it'll be fun to see. And I do agree with you, even though the Washington football team signed Heineke, however you say it, to 2 years. I don't think he's gonna be their day one. Like, if they can get somebody, like you said, like a Cam Newton, put him back with Ron Rivera, having that relationship, I could definitely see that. So now who are you taking at 12?
At 12, I'm taking Alabama corner Patrick Surtain. I feel like the Niners are going to be like, look, Richard Sherman, he's probably going to be out in free agency. You know what I'm saying? We just were at the Super Bowl. Then we just look like we should have never been at the Super Bowl. So, we had a rough season. Richard Sherman, old head's probably out. Let's bring in the young buck from Bama, and let's roll Tide. So I got Pat Surtain going number 12.
So 13 to the Chargers. They have Christian Darrisaw here. I haven't really seen him play much, so I'm with you with the PFF. And I know these are like other people's opinions, but we've been around football enough to understand like what makes the most sense. So I'm gonna go with where is it? I'm gonna go with Alex Weatherwood from Alabama, offensive tackle to the Chargers. That's who I'm gonna go with there. So Leatherwood at 13. I definitely see the Chargers getting Joe Burrow. Yeah, Jesus Christ sake. I definitely see the Chargers getting protection for Herbert. So they're definitely going to go lineman, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I have them taking I'm have the Chargers taking another offensive lineman too, but I'm gonna have them taking Christian Darvison from Virginia Tech. I really don't know so much about him. I just have him taking him because he's the second best offensive lineman available. And why not take if he's there? You need a lineman, protect your franchise QB. Best lineman, take him. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I got, Christian Darvison, Virginia Tech, gonna be a Charger. And then on the clock
at
number
14 with the
14.
Vikings. Ooh, this is going to be a steal. I'm going to tell you this right now. Lineman-wise, it's going to be the biggest steal in my mind. I'm taking Christian Barmore because they need to – their offense will be able to put up points. They can compete. So I think it's time they start adding to their defense with Harrison Smith being in the secondary, get themselves a decent D-lineman. So I'm going to go with Christian Barmore from Alabama at D-line. He's physical. He kind of reminds me a little bit. They use the comparison in here to Quinnen Williams. I don't think he's as good as Quinnen Williams, but he has that, like you saw, he was pressured in the playoffs against Notre Dame because I'm a Notre Dame fan. He was getting pressure. He pressured Justin Field. I think he's a steal. I think he'll end up being probably the number one D lineman to go in this draft. I believe I didn't say anything. Yeah, I see Barmore going at 14. I'm going to go D line for them.
Yes, I definitely agree with you there. I definitely see them going with Christian Barmore, too, to keep up that. They already have a good defensive line. That's really tough to come across in the NFL. And, teams really like to keep that going. I mean, look at the 49ers. When they spent their last, how many first-round picks in a row did they spend on the defensive line? And then now look at them. They were scary. They were scaring. They were scaring Aaron Rodgers in that NFC Championship. So, I feel like they're going to go ahead and, pay attention to that, and I agree with you. I think they're going to take Christian Barmore. He's an Alabama defensive lineman. I mean, chances are he could play. I mean, let's be real. Chances are he could do it. I mean, look, the Dolphins took what's his name? The one he was a D lineman. I forget what's his name. Anyways, they took him, and the third round or something, Raekwon Davis, beast for the Dolphins. He's eating.
Mm-hmm.
He started day one, third round pick. So, for him to be a projected first rounder, I'm assuming he's pretty good.
Facts.
And number 15, we got the Billy Belichick New England Patriots.
They're definitely in the quarterback market. I don't think, like you said, if you go to New England, they probably hate you as a quarterback. I'm gonna go with Mac Jones. I think he's another. He'll be good there. I think.
I actually
I'm
really,
gonna go
really
Mac
agree with
Jones
you.
at 15.
I agree with you with Mac Jones at 15. And the reason why, I mean, look, it's people are probably like, what? You got Mac Jones going over? You got Mac Jones going over BYU, boy? Yes, I do. Because Mac Jones, he could literally fit the Patriot way. Man,
Facts.
that dude waited to play in Alabama. He only played 1 year.
He played behind Jalen Hurts and Tua. That shows that he's dedicated.
He's dedicated to his work, and he beat out Tua's older brother. So he's willing to work. You know what I'm saying? He's willing to work. He didn't back down, and that's something that the Patriots really like, And, he's not a crazy prospect. Nobody's going crazy over him, so he's easily available to fall at 15. And I say the Patriots are taking him, and I agree with you, is because he ain't going to be in the first round. If he slips past the first round, he's not going to be in the second round for long. Because he could play. He could play some QB. It's pretty good. And he's pretty good, and he has a great size. You don't really have to worry about the size with him. He's smart. And, I mean, at the end of the day, we know he can handle tough coaching. we know he's been with Nick Saban for 4 or 5 years, so he sure can handle it. So I think, New England is a really good fit for him, and I'm going to pencil in Mac Jones to New England, too, for number 15.
So 16 for the Cardinals. I definitely think they're going to go secondary because their offense is pretty good. I don't see them going offensive line. I'm stuck between J.C. Horn because I watched him because he's in the SEC for South Carolina. So I watched him because he plays in big games. But if Sean Wade would have had a solid year, I'm not saying he was bad. He wasn't like an Okuda or anybody like that. So I think I'm gonna go with the corner from Georgia because I just think he was better out of like Sean Wade and J.C. Horn from South Carolina. So I'm gonna take a jump here because they're saying he's the 27th prospect. I'm gonna go with Tyson Campbell from Georgia. He's pretty solid. He had a bad game against Bama, but he was pretty good. And he had a pass breakup in every single game. So, I mean, I'm going to go with Tyson Campbell at 16 to the Cardinals.
Word.
Dion, I just had a good idea, bro. What we should do is we should hop on the Zoom, depending on where I'm at the time. I should be home. We'll hop on Zoom and watch the draft live and have a couple beers and get live reactions of what occurred.
Yeah,
because you're going to go nuts at 3, and I'm going to be pissed when the Eagles do something stupid.
Bro, you should have seen
did you see that thing? Justin Fields falling to 6 and bringing Justin Fields to Philly? And I was like, can we stop with this QB factory thing?
I seen that too. I was like, oh, they're tripping. I
was like, no.
I see.
Well, 1, it makes no sense. And 2, I don't think he's falling that far. And if he falls, he definitely isn't going to Philly. He'll go to like a Lions or a Panthers or somewhere like that. Philly, we don't need it. Either keep Wentz or develop Hurts because you're going to do is piss off Jalen Hurts and the dude's going to want out. And then we're either going to have some scrub like Josh McCown or some quarterback that nobody even knows from like the CFL or something like that, like Heineke coming in and playing. So that just – I hope to God they don't think that's a good idea. So I'm going to go with Campbell at 16 to the Cardinals.
Yeah, no doubt. We could definitely do that, bro. You should have seen me when we drafted Tua, bro. I was tweaking. I was tweaking.
Dion, I'm going to throw a joke in here, and we're not going to discuss it any further. I'm just going to say something. I know it's going to crack you up. Ready for this? Grape soda can. I knew you would get that. That's an inside joke for anybody who ends up watching this. That's just a funny joke with the grape soda can. That's all we're going with on that one, though. That's just funny to me. I don't know why I just thought of that. I was like, that was funny.
So for I got the I'm gonna say that the Cards are gonna take Gregory Rousseau or Rossier, whatever you say his name, from University of Miami. They say he's a freaking beast. And I feel like the Cardinals are going to want to add to that defensive line, get that pass rush up. Their defense is like, I really think the only thing that's holding them back. And, I think they're going to want to capitalize on that and just continue to bring some pass rushers since there's really no. Buddy, I think.
Like that pick. So 17 to the Raiders. And I'm a Notre Dame fan, and I should know how to say his name. I'm going to go with Jeremiah Owusu Koramon or Koramawa, however you say it. So I'm going to go with my boy from Notre Dame. He's solid, productive.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I agree with you from the boy with him.
I mean, I could see a Waddle or something going there if they don't bring Aguilar back. And they got Hunter Renfrow. They got Henry Ruggs. Derek Carr is I think Derek Carr is going to be a top 10 quarterback next year. That's going to be another. I think he's gonna. I don't think playoff Derek Carr good, but like 8-8, 9-7, they can compete. So I'm gonna go with a Wusa, whatever.
Yeah, me too. I don't really see I agree with you. I don't really see the Raiders going out with. They don't have to go for a QB. I mean, they got Marcus Mariota and Derek Carr. Derek Carr still, like you said, I believe in Derek Carr. I think he's a good QB. He's iffy in the playoffs, but I mean, also. He was hurt.
So I think we're both in agreement of who we're taking at 18. I'm going with the boy Najee Harris.
Yes, sir.
Even if it's one of those things how they used Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders his rookie year as like a third down back or something, putting him with like an Aaron Jones or something. They could go. I could go with Gregory Rousseau here, help your defense out a little bit.
Yeah, we do need to
But
work on that pass rush, but
I do. I just don't know. Do I want to go? My gut tells me Harris. I might actually go. I'm going to go with Rousseau at 18. I want Harris to go there, but I don't know if they draft another running back if you guys take Aaron Jones in free agency. So I'm going to go against my gut. I'm going to take Rousseau at 18.
well, Miami Nation, y'all, if y'all been watching still, y'all know where I want to go with this. Y'all know where I want to go with this. If I don't get this player, man, I'm going to be mad on draft night. I don't give a damn who we take at number 3. At 18, it better be Najee Harris, because that boy is a real man. He's the next Derrick Henry. Stop playing with me. We need him in Miami. Let's bring him in. Come on, Chris Greer. Bring him in. Coach Flo, bring him in. Because at 18, when y'all draft him, I'm buying his jersey straight off the NFLshop.com like that. The pipe that I wanted. I want him more than I wanted Tua.
I really do see them going Smith at 3 and Harris. But like I said, if you get Aaron Jones, I'm not saying that Najee Harris isn't a good side piece to that, but is it going to cause
not worth it.
controversy?
It's better to take here's the thing. If Greg Rozier and Najee Harris, put it there. It's better to take a better player at a different position, because we don't need a running back no more. Now, if we don't get no free agent running back, I'm telling you, it's a guarantee the Dolphins are taking him at 18, because they're saying that he might slip.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But here's the thing, here's another thing that scares me too. The Cardinals at number 16 might take him before us. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, they're going somewhere. They're going. I hope they want to work on their defense. I hope they want to work on their defense. Look, y'all let our offense beat y'all. Work on your defense. We're terrible. Our offense is terrible, but go work on your defense, okay? Because our defense is legit, and let us work on our offense, and let us get Najee Harris. And also, I seen him mock draft, and it just scared me, because I'm like, no. Because before, they had Najee Harris going in the second round, and then after, they showed a picture of his quads, and you watched the national championship game, boop, he went up, and that's understandable. But I'm also not, I wouldn't be so upset. I would be upset if we have no running back. If we have Aaron Jones, I wouldn't be upset, because I would like to take a good player, that could fill in, you know what I'm saying? Just like I was upset about Christian Wilkins, but shoot, I wanted over him, Dwayne Haskins. And I'm telling you right now, I'm happy about the pick, because if we had Dwayne Haskins, we'd probably be in trouble. So, Najee Harris at 18 for Miami. Like I said, I would probably be upset. But if we have someone like Aaron Jones, I'm cool. And also, there is some day 2 guys, like the dude Devonta Williams, that was a standout in the Reese's Bowl, who could be a nice pickup. And then you also got the dude from Travis Etienne, who might be a late first rounder, or early second rounder that Miami could get to. But personally, just with the the experience. I mean, bro, they started school together, literally. Tua, Smith, and Harris, to bring them into Miami and ball. That's an opportunity. I don't the Dolphins. They have to take that. They just have to, in my opinion. They just have to. It just sounds good. I'm going to have 3 Alabama jerseys, not like the Buckeyes.
Sorry, I'm just doing a little research here before I'm talking out my ass.
No, you good. And, bro, don't worry, because I will definitely cut some stuff out, too. If we sound goofy or we say some stupid ass shit, don't worry, I'll cut it out.
So, at 19 to the Washington football team, I'm going Jalen Waddle. I think he's going to fall coming off that injury. He tried to come back, so he shows that passion. I think he'll have that little connection to trying to fight an uphill battle and come back no matter what. I think Ron Rivera will like that. He beat cancer this season. He was getting chemo at halftime. He became cancer-free by the end of the year. Jalen Waddle got hurt, came back. Clearly, he caught one or two passes. I believe it was one. You could tell he was hurting. So I just think if Waddle's there with that kind of like compassion for the game and the will to do what it takes for a team, I think that would be a speedster to add to with Cam Newton's running ability. You could put him in the backfield. He wants to be a team first player. So I'm gonna go with Waddle at 19.
Let me see. Let me look at some Washingtonians because I want to say QB, but you know what? I am. The Washington football team at my 19 pick, they're gonna be like, they're not gonna believe it who's on the board at this pick. They're gonna be like, man, this is crazy. They're going with Zack Wilson. They're taking Zack Wilson from BYU, and they're gonna, pin him in there with Tyler Heineke, probably another free agent, and they're gonna, have a QB battle, and the best man comes out. And I really believe Washington is a QB away from being somebody because they are pretty good everywhere else except QB. Seriously.
That defensive line is scary.
Yes, very scary.
Well, come on, Dion. You put Jalen Waddle, Cam Newton, and then you have Scary Terry. You open your run game. Because you got what's Bull's name, the running back for Washington. He was
Antonio
a solid
Gibson.
running back. He was a steal in fantasy. Gibson was a steal in fantasy when he was healthy. So you put him, you can move Waddle around in the backfield, jet sweeps, read options, screen passes, put Scary Terry out there with him. Cam Newton showed this year, even without weapons, he can still be solid running the ball. So if Zack Wilson falls, I could see that. Because that's really the only team left on the board besides, well, really, if the Saints want to reach for a quarterback, if Drew Brees truly does retire. Because I'm looking, we got the Bears, which they're either going to stick with Trubisky or end up with Wentz. The Colts, maybe, but I doubt that. Titans are good. Jets are Steelers. Maybe the Steelers that'd be a reach for me. But yeah, I could see Zack Wilson at 19. You ready for this one? I hate this because I'm going against not my gut. I'm going against my gut on the 18th pick because I sent Rasu there. I'm going to go with Najee Harris to the Bears because I think Tariq Cohen's going to be gone. I don't know. Montgomery's productive, but like you said, I'm not going to jump the gun and say he's the next Derrick Henry. He's built like Derrick Henry. He runs like Derrick Henry.
I am.
But that would not be a bad fit. I know. It would not be a bad fit. Well, you've seen how many people have been studs in college
That's
and
true.
get to the NFL, and it's just like, oh, shit. So, like, I don't want to jump the gun. And, like, I keep going back to it, the combine. The combine plays a bigger factor in this than a lot of people would think.
Absolutely.
So, I'm going to go with Harris at 20. I think he's going to – because if you end up with Aaron Jones, it just doesn't make sense to take Harris, to be honest.
True. At 20, I'm gonna say that the Chicago Bears are gonna work on their offensive line. Help protect their two dudes where they want to go with, Bisky or Nick Foles, Saint Nick. But I have them taking the Northwestern Rashawn Slater, beef up that O-line, get that protection down there in Chicago. You know what I mean? Help try to build some confidence in them QBs. You know what I mean? Like I don't think Mitchell Trubisky's all that bad. I think I'm gonna tell you what. I know the Bears are mad that they didn't take Pat Mahomes, but we know he ain't no Pat Mahomes. We get that, and I think Mitchell Trubisky gets, I think he gets beat up a lot from being the first overall pick in the same draft class as Pat Mahomes, and it's, you know what I mean. And he played good this year. He had a lot of adversity. Like he came through and he showed up. And I mean, look, man, he won the Nickelodeon Wild Card MVP. That's something, right?
Mm-hmm. So at 21, I'm going to go with Xavier Collins, edge from Tulsa. Just let them beef up their defense a little bit because you got Darius Leonard and stuff at linebacker. I think that'd be a good fit. They might be looking quarterback, but I don't know. My gut still tells me that the Eagles front office is dumb enough to let Wentz go there for like a second-round pick, which I don't hate because their second-round pick.
That's good for Wentz, especially to take that contract.
And the Colts have. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's kind of where, like, I don't want to see him go there, but it just makes sense to unload his contract. So I wouldn't hate him going for a second round, but if they send Ertz with Wentz, I think sending those two, we need the first round pick in that. Like, if we're going to give up Wentz and for us to get a first-round pick, we would have to give up Ertz. I could be okay with that because I think Dallas Goedert's a top 15 tight end.
Absolutely.
So I don't hate that, but if we're going to trade Wentz for like a second-round pick and something stupid, I don't love it. But if we can get a first round and we let Ertz go, we have. And then that brings me back to the whole, if we take Pitts at 6, we have a receiver. They have him as a tight end, but he's like a hybrid tight end. He can block inside. He can split out wide. So that'll be a fun one to look for on in the draft.
Absolutely.
So 22. I'm going to go with a Joel Alari from Georgia, edge. Just because I don't really know what the Titans necessarily need. Offensively, I think they'll be okay. I don't really know, what's his name? Adoree Jackson from USC. He was hurt this year. That's a solid corner for them. There's corners that you could go with. Tyson Campbell, they're saying he's a second-day pick. I'm taking him at 16 to the Cardinals. But like you said, Najee Harris, looking at a running back because what's his head? Who do they have at running back? Kirk, and who's the other one? I'm drawing a blank on who their running backs were. They played 2 running backs. The Cardinals.
Oh, Kenyon Drake and
I just said his name and I drew a blank again. Christian Kirk. Right? He's a running back, I believe.
He's a receiver. The other ones, I think it's I know you're talking about. He's like 30. He's like something. He's like his number's in the 30s, I think.
Why can I not think? I'm about to look it up on ESPN. I don't know why Christian Kirk came to mind. I bet on him on FanDuel a lot.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. Xavier Collins. I do think Collins is going to be going to the Colts too. And then you said you have Ozzy Olahar.
Xavier. Yeah.
Xavier Ozzy Olahar. The big dude from Georgia, right? 13.
Yeah, they have Kenyon Drake, and they were playing somebody else. I just don't know who else they were playing in the back.
Yeah, because Kenyon Drake was hurt a little bit.
Because it wasn't DJ Foster. It wasn't Chase Edmonds. Was it Benjamin or something? I don't know. There was somebody, but I don't know.
I definitely agree with you there, too. I think the Titans are going to go try to beef up that defensive line, add a pass rusher. They threw some money at Giovanni Clowney, and, that was really upsetting for him. He didn't really live up to their expectations. So I think they're going to go try to find a young boy at Georgia, get that pass rush up because, they might be a pass rusher away. They're pretty good.
So I have 2 picks here for 24 or 20. Oh, yeah, that's 24. Wrong one. For 23 for the Jets. This is a slight reach, but they're obviously going to go receiver. They're going to take probably the best receiver on the board. And I think they're going to go more height than they are skill. Not skill, but I'm saying like a couple inches and a couple pounds go far for wide receiver. So it's a slight reach, but not much. I'm going to go with Rashad Bateman at 23 to the Jets. I would say Kadarius Toney, but if they get Juju, they're not going to take another person to throw in the slot. You know what I mean? Juju's good enough to go outside, but I think Rashad Bateman makes the most sense there.
Yeah, I definitely can understand the ideology. With my 23rd pick, I think they're going to take the best available wide receiver, and I think that is going to be Kadarius Toney from Florida. And, like I said, he's more of a slot guy, and so is Juju. But, I think they'll try to, split Juju outside, let this man run some slot. And, so I think they're going to take him.
Yeah, I'm just going bold prediction based off who I think is going to have a better combine. That's all I'm taking. I wanted to go with Kadarius Toney, but I'm going to just a bold prediction say Bateman's probably going to have a better combine kind of thing. And that.
So you're saying you're saying your Jets are going to get your boy Zack Wilson a weapon at number 23.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Right. It makes sense to me. So 24, I have a reach pick here and who I think they're going to take. So I'm going to say I want to say ETN, he's going to have a really good combine. So I was thinking Etienne to Pittsburgh because they have James Conner. He's not terrible. He hasn't really been the most productive. So I think Etienne could be a good fit there with what Bull's name from Memphis, Benny Snell. Benny Snell runs hard. So I'm not going to reach on this one with Etienne. I think he's going to have a good combine. I think he's going to raise his stock draft from a second round to a first round. So I'm going to go with Tucker, Elijah Vera Tucker from inside, outside lineman, backer, whatever he is. I think he's an inside something. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank of what IOL means. So I'm going to go with Vera Tucker. Let them work on whatever that is. 6'4", 315. So he's obviously a lineman. I think he's an offensive lineman. So I'm going to go with – let me look. I'm going to click on him. I'm going to go with Tucker at 24. Just because I really don't know. Yeah, I really don't know if they're sold on what they're going to do completely. I wouldn't be surprised if Etienne goes there, but
I'm gonna say the Pittsburgh Steelers are gonna, Big Ben ain't retiring, so they're gonna try to keep him protected. He can bounce off people. Some people still bounce off him, but that's gonna eventually die down too. So I have them taking Elijah Vera Tucker from USC. You too. I agree with you.
Yeah, he's a offensive tackle. So I could see them doing that. Protect Ben a little bit because he's getting older.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I feel like
now we're going to 25. This is where it's fun. D lineman is what they're saying. So it's funny. I think you have a better chance of telling me what the Jaguars already have versus what they need because they need a lot more than they have. So let's look in here.
I personally think the Jaguars are going to take the best offensive lineman available, and that's going to be.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at.
And I'm saying that they have Tevin Jenkins over.
I'm gonna go Wyatt Davis.
They have
Wyatt Davis from Ohio State.
Wyatt Davis.
Yeah, at 25, I'm gonna go Wyatt Davis.
Was he?
Yes, first round potential. I think if you're gonna hold on before I tell you the wrong thing. He's a tackle. It's that IOL thing. So I looked it up. They're usually inside offensive linemen, so either guard or tackle, wherever they fit more. So I just think they're gonna go offensive lineman there, just because I think Barmore will be off the board because I think he's gonna go. Where do I have him going? Do I have Barmore anywhere? Yeah, I have Barmore at 14. Yeah, Barmore at 14 going to the Vikings. I just think if they're going to take Trevor Lawrence, they're going to want protection for him.
Absolutely. I'm going to have – I think that I agree with you there. They're going to want to go and protect Trevor Lawrence, except I have them taking a different offensive lineman. I have them taking Alex Leatherwood from Alabama. That's a big dude from Bama. He's played against pretty good pass rushers from LSU, Auburn, Shoot, even Ohio State got some good pass rushers. So, he's a good tackle.
I thought you used Leatherwood. I thought you used Leatherwood already. I think. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that one. Did you, or am I just drawing right now?
No, I didn't use him yet.
I might be drawing.
I used Penny, Christian Darson, Slater, and Tucker.
Okay, that was Slater then, because I was looking at Slater a little bit.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna go with Alex Leatherwood, and help beef up that line. So wait, Wyatt Davis though is an offensive lineman from Ohio State.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's pretty good too with Urban Meyer. That's not a bad idea.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. He may have played for him. He may have not. But I was like, I don't really – I just see if – I know they're taking Trevor Lawrence. So I just see them taking – he only allowed 2 pressures against Nebraska, and they were on blitzes. But after that, that was week 1. They said after that he was solid. So I could definitely see that. So we're on to what, 26?
Yep, the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, the Browns. I'm going to go with Joseph Ossie, outside linebacker from Texas. Get them a little help on defense. Not that their defense is terrible. It's going to come down to what they want, what they actually need, and who's there. Like, I'm sure they'll have 1 or 2 positions that they want to attack. So I think it'll come down to who's the best in the position that they want at that time.
Yeah, I agree with you too. I think they're going to go after Joseph Ossie too. Build up that defense. Their offense is really spectacular. Really, I think they should just remove one player, and I think their offense is going to be really good, and then they can get some good compensation for that number 13. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. I feel like they're going to go beef up that defense again, get a little mean on that defense. They're one of those teams that can literally run the ball all game besides the Tennessee Titans. Like, they literally can run it all game, and they could. So, you build up go build up your defense so they can sit out there and just smash the ball, smash the team, and get you the ball back. And then you continue to smash the ball on offense, run the clock down, and Cleveland will be going into the playoffs again.
So at 27, I actually want to debate this one with you because I'm kind of torn in a way, because I consider what I've seen people do in the season, based off their quarterback and stuff like that. So I want to say Kadarius Toney because he played with what was the quarterback's name again? Trask. He played with Trask. So you got to look at him in college. But I really like the receiver from LSU, Terrence Marshall Jr. He's big. He's physical. So I think he's going to have a good combine. So I'm torn between Marshall and Toney because if you take Toney, he's 6 foot, so he's big enough to play outside, but he was used more of a slot due to Kyle Pitts being able to split out inside, outside, wherever you want to place him. He's 6 foot, so he could play outside, but then you look at Marshall, and he's 6'4". So I don't know if Marshall's first-round material right now. He's definitely second. I'm going to go against my gut again. I'm going to say Marshall's going to go. I don't see them. No, we'll go with Toney. I don't think they'll jump on Marshall. They're going to go with Toney because he had a good year with Kyle Trask. So I'm going to go with Kadarius Toney. But I won't be surprised if Marshall ends up going.
Yeah, absolutely. And who was number 26 again? We agreed on.
Ossie or whatever. Joseph Ossie, Ossai, the outside linebacker from Texas.
And for the 27th pick, I got the Ravens taking Wyatt Davis from Ohio State. He's the former grandson of Hall of Famer Willie Davis. And why do I say they're taking him? Well, the Ravens, they kind of got that spread, fast pace, move the ball downfield. And that's the type of offense, Wyatt Davis had in Ohio. He plays multiple different types of schemes. So sometimes they're on the ball quick. Sometimes they're huddling up. Ohio State's bipolar is whatever they want to do, what fits the scheme. So I think, the Ravens are going to say, look, man, we need to get some protection for Lamar Jackson. Let's get him comfortable. Let's keep him in the pocket, I think they're just I think they're literally Lamar Jackson away from being a very dangerous team. And it's not that he could throw the ball. He can reach all those throws. I think I firmly and 100% wholeheartedly believe any player that's a QB in the NFL could complete every single throw, or they wouldn't be there. Shouldn't be a question. They have the arm strength, you know what I'm saying? Now, sometimes you don't see the arm strength, and those come into little demeanors, like pass rush, like pressure and little things. And, I think, Lamar Jackson's been pressured a lot this season. Teams kind of learn that if we force him to throw, we're in a good spot. And if we bring a pass rush on him, he kind of gets spot. Lamar Jackson, what I mean, that's why I said I would bet Lamar Jackson. He's fast, but he's not a really good scrambler. Like when he's coming up scrambling in the pocket, he's usually taking sacks or he's running for, he's running 70 yards for a 5-yard gain. That's not good. You know what I mean? That's you're just tiring yourself out. So I think they're going to try to, get a lineman, help, Lamar Jackson sit in that pocket and, read his progressions and complete some tough passes. At number 28, we got the New Orleans Saints. Who they? Who that?
I'm looking at this is. I'm just gonna go with this mock draft because I think the Saints. It depends, the whole quarterback thing, kind of thing with free agency. So I'm not – they could get an edge. So I'm just going to go with what they're having on here. I hate doing that because I try to steer away from other people's opinions. I like to hear them. I like to hear everybody's opinion out, even if I don't know them personally. So I'm going to go with Jalen Phillips, the edge from Miami. Just slap someone next to Cameron Jordan out there and let it rock from there.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick. Actually, they actually have the Dolphins taking him in the one mock draft over Najee Harris. Tripping. But anyways, I got the Saints taking cornerback from South Carolina, J.C. Horn. And, I think, they want to – man, they got to play Brady. And Brady got, 17 number one wide receivers. So you need a corner, man. You need a corner. You need a corner down in New Orleans because I'm going to tell you what, Drew Brees ain't retiring. You know what I mean? If he is, my man Jameis Winston is personal with Tampa Bay, so we're not counting Jameis out. But like I said, I think something sit in Drew Brees' stomach. I watched that post game, and when they asked him about it, you kind of can see when someone's about to retire. They're sad because they really know they're about to do it. He may. I'm not saying he won't retire. What I'm saying is he don't want to right now. Well, at least from the divisional game. So, I think Drew Brees will stay there, and they're going to go get that corner so they can sit there and compete with the Bucs because right now the Saints, man, they're the toughest team. They got it rough. They got to compete with the Bucs twice and possibly 3 times. They might have to play them 3 times again. So it's real for them. They need to get a corner. Number 29, the Green Bay Packers. They're going to take a quarterback again.
Yeah, and we're probably going to go to the 40th pick. This shit's fun. I could talk sports all day. I was telling my mom that earlier. I was like, Mom, I wish you knew everything because I've been waiting to talk to somebody about the whole draft because I need someone who understands people with football, if that makes sense.
No doubt, absolutely, bro.
So we can keep this going as long as you want. Dion, this could be a freaking 6-hour conversation, and I won't get bored. So I'm not going to reach here, and I think you'll understand why I'm going with this pick. I think he's going to raise his draft stock, and if Aaron Jones does become a Dolphin, I definitely don't see him staying with the Packers. I think Travis Etienne is going to be a Packer. I think he's going to raise his draft stock at the combine, and he's going to be a first rounder. And if Aaron Jones is gone, I think Etienne is a solid pick. He runs hard like Aaron Jones does, and he can catch the ball at the backfield just as good, if not better, than Aaron Jones can. So I don't think that's really a reach. I like the Etienne pick at 29.
Actually, I didn't.
So as long as you want to keep talking, Dion, we're going to keep talking. I'm telling you, we're just going to keep talking.
I was going to go with that receiver from Purdue. That's a second rounder. I was going to say he was going to slip up, have a good combine, and the Packers are going to take him. But you definitely changed my mind. I agree with you. I think Travis Etienne is definitely going to be going with the Packers too. If he's definitely there at number 29, why not? I mean, y'all, they need something. They need help in that running back room. I'm not saying, but like you said, look, all 3 of their majority of their running backs are all free agents. So the chances are they're going to get 2 of them back, 1 of them back, or even all 3 is slim to none. So you're definitely going to need depth at running back. And this is a great player to have. He's a beast. He's a champion. He could play. So I agree with you there. I see him coming there. And then number 30, we got the Buffalo Bills.
I'm going to go with Nick Bolton just because I don't think they're going to be able to keep Terrell Edmonds and Matt Milano long term. They might – I think the better of the 2 is to keep Terrell Edmonds because he pursues good. He can cover. Matt Milano is solid, but I think if it's going to come down to one of those things, if they both are top-tier linebackers, one may want to leave. One might be I want to retire here. The other one might want to go be the star and make some money somewhere else. So I'm going to go with Nick Bolton on that one. Outside linebacker from Missouri. Yeah, you know how the NFL is. Even if you're an outside backer, you could become an inside backer. It's really not drastically different.
Especially, and if you're an outside backer, you probably have the speed too. So for the Bills, I got them taking, I have them say, you know what? Why not? This top lineman slipped to us at number 30. Let's take him. Tevin Jenkins. They're going to take Tevin Jenkins, add to an offensive line build. keep Josh Allen protected. That man got wheels, but if they could keep him sitting there, and they'd rather do that too. But he could throw off the run, but they're gonna want to sit there and give him some protection. This dude fall that 30, they're not passing up at him. And then
And that's another place I could see Terrence Marshall going too. Throw him in the mix with Stephon Diggs, another big body. There's a couple of picks on here. I don't think a lot will change, especially in my top 15-ish. But towards the back end of this, I think some people like the ETN thing I definitely think is going to happen, especially if Jones is gone. But 31 for the Chiefs, I'm going to take what's his name? Rashawn Slater from Northwestern.
For number 31, I'm taking your boy from Notre Dame. They need a lineman. I think he's going to be a good, surprise. I think people are sleeping on him. I don't know how to say his last name, but I'm taking – yep. Eichenberg. I'm going to take him. They need some tackles down there. They were getting destroyed by JPP and his 7 fingers and 7.5 fingers. So they need some help down there in Kansas City. So they're going to go out and get that lineman. And then you're going to get that Notre Dame.
That's why I went with Slater, because it looked like Mahomes was playing with no linemen.
Yeah. Slater's not – if he's there, definitely.
And then 32 for the Bucks, I'm going to go with Samuel Cosmi from Texas, offensive tackle. Give Brady some protection. If not, another just a role player to have if you need it.
And, yeah, I agree with you there, too. They're going to bring in another lineman to beef up to that, pretty solid offensive line they already have, especially if they could retain all their, key free agent players. And they're just going to beef up that offensive line. And that's pretty young, and they're going to keep it, groovy.